Munasise. And I've also watched and listened to Sidinjai. And I'm not surprised. But I wanna start by saying this and kind of personalize it. Because every now and then, whether it's on this show or you disagree with people, or I have a say or a take, sometimes I have the tag, people calling me a tribalist.
Mhm.
And you see, when I listen to Maimuna Sise and I listen to Sidinjai, and I could only say to myself, have I ever in my life even come anywhere close or even think about saying anything like that? So, what am I driving at? We should be very careful when we throw words around to an individual, because what that tends to do, it water down the word. In America here, people are very careful to call you a racist, even when you take positions that may even have racial connotations or deductions. You would hear people say, we don't know what's in the person's heart. You listen to Maimuna Sise, someone who was part of the United Democratic Party going all the way back to 1996. She knows the party, she knows the individual, she knows the leader. We all know the UDP, we all know the leader. We know who he is. He's an honest man. You can disagree with him on policy, you can disagree with him in terms of decisions that have been made. But for you, and this is the NPP playbook, they believe it worked for them in 2021, and that's where they're going. You know, to the people of Kiang, I say, and I like their response. They sit there and they listen. They did not applaud, they did not. All you saw was a face, because they know this lady is selling them nonsense. How in God's name in 2021 you came and you say, this person, if he wins, Wolofson, Pulos, and everybody will be sent out. He would be there for the Mandinkaya Fasa. And then you want to turn around today and go to the people of Kiang and say, hey, if he wins, he's going to take care of his nephews and his nieces that happens to belong to another tribe. That's an insult to the people of Kiang. That's an insult to Gambians, to all of us, that Nyunyi, the only way that we are going to vote if you throw this tribal thing around. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's the kind of disrespect and what you think of the average voter. Then we only vote for that. And then here comes Sidinjai. Again, using the same rhetoric that they were using in 2021. What were they? Fitna and tribal. Because he thinks it's going to work. Again, they absolutely have no respect for us. If these people are allowed to win in 2026, what are we telling them? Sariang, you said it. If they believe that they have an economic agenda, if they believe that they have built roads, if they believe that they were able to bring electricity and water to the entire country, run on that. Let's talk about the issues that really matter. But when you take a megaphone, like you said, and all people are hearing is to scare people away, and you think that's going to win you votes, well, it worked in 2021 because most people believe that Barrow got elected by playing the tribal card to the hilt and the fear factor. That's what they did. And they believe, after reading all these polls, that they're in trouble. When they run against an opposition, 47% opposition, 30-something percent. The guy has been hovering around 30-something percent. They say, oh, wait a minute. We cannot allow that to happen. Let's scare these people to death. Let's say, Sariang Marong, if you call for this Surwa, Yafa die. Let's play the cards. Let's divide them. What we cannot do, though, is to allow that to happen. And this should be a lesson to all of us. before we name call people, before we tag them to water down some of these horrible, nasty things just for the sake of politics. Because if you disagree with Musa Jeng with what I am saying, and all you have is to come back at me, then the only reason why I'm saying it, the motivation is I'm a tribal idiot. Yanko exploit your time. That's all you're doing. Instead of disagreeing with me, these people, the Maimunasis of this world, the Sidinjais of this world, they are not going to be the change that this country needs. They're doing it for themselves. Maimuna Sise is a National Assembly member because she is a nominated member. She cannot get elected anywhere, not in her own accord. She doesn't have the capacity. I don't know her. Let me be very clear. But based on her public utterances, I listened to her at the National Assembly. She has no depth. She has no business being at the National Assembly. Same thing with Sidinjai. Sidinjai ran in Nyanija. He was rejected by his own people that know him best. So when I see people talk about, Sidinjai now he's the president, he's so powerful, he's not. What Sidi is doing is easy.
Siboro?
Yeah, the Fayomba. When you have no boundaries, when you have no shame, all you demonstrate is loyalty. Whatever you say, Sidi Mumfa, Be'elik. Of course, Kudeflulu, you have the ear of the president. Gaine, Nakaleko Gaide Oe, Li Ayu Dakia Ai, something like that.
Bor Ayu Dakia Ai.
Dakia Ai. When you have access, you have the president's ear. We are all human beings. This person basically subdue, he's loyal to you. Whatever you say goes. Yomba, then of course you're going to have influence. Come on now, let's not kid ourselves. All he has is influence. He has ear of the president. In 2026, we can send this guy to the unemployment line. He would be nobody. We can do that. The question is, are we ready to do that? The stakes are high. In 7 months, we're going to go to the polls and we can send these people packing. Another 5 years of battle. It's not good for this country. Seriously, it's not. Just look at the kind of politics that they're playing. They want to divide us. That's what they do. Unfortunately. But I have one thing though. The people of Kiang, I don't think they're buying that. I seriously don't believe that. I could tell from just looking at them. I don't think they're buying it one bit. Definitely not.
And Musa, Maimuna Sise is violating one of two laws. Either the immigration laws of the United States or the Constitution of the Gambia. When Maimuna was nominated, I asked a question that is yet answered. Is she a U.S. citizen? Because if she is a U.S. citizen, then her nomination will be unconstitutional. Because you cannot be a nominated member or a member of the National Assembly if you hold dual citizenship. So if she is then a U.S. citizen, then definitely her nomination was done in contravention of our Constitution. If she is a permanent resident, the laws of this country states that you cannot stay more time out of the country than you do in the country. So when people want to go nasty, we can go. And the league is the easiest thing to do. I remember when I raised the issue about the digital minister, I saw him now he's going at the political rallies talking too. When he went and falsely claimed that he had renounced his citizenship, which was not true, only for Barrow to use it as an excuse to fire him because they wanted to fire him, they didn't know how to fire him. Then later say, oh, you know what, we've just discovered that you did not renounce. You're going. So to me, the politics of our country must be politics of ideas. We must never allow anybody to reduce our politics to this nonsense of ki narla because of Talib is papam nakalatura. What's the nakalatura? Papam is they said Moroccan or papam who served as permanent secretary, Yaya papam, Sister Jawara, and all this nonsense. Or Usenu is a tribalist and all that stuff. Or they will turn around and say, you know what? Oh, Usenu is not Mandinka all of because Jabara Bisa Takud Ben Mandik. So this nonsense, they want to have it both ways, you know, or Halifa is is tribalist. So they just use this tribal thing and just throw it around and around and around. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was talking about tribal politics. You see, you guys are talking about tribalism. Why they are winning? When I go, no, they don't win on tribalism. They go and induce voters. I said, if tribalism was the only reason, tribe was the only reason why for somebody to lose elections, Jammeh will not be president of that country. He had insulted Mandinkas more than anybody you would ever seen. He went to Makati Square and said they are not Gambians. In fact, Mandinka is not even a tribe. He said that. He had said every nonsense about that tribe. But what they do, they go to these communities. Musa Jeng would go as an opposition, talk to the people, they claim, oh my God, the state would use state mass resources. Go there 2 days before election, Sakumala, Garalu Diulini, and other stuff, and people will just fall for that nonsense. And that's the issue. But my thing is, we must not allow the Sidinja is the most spineless, unprincipled human being to ever walk the face of this earth to be relevant in our politics. And the way to end their relevancy is to at least vote this government out of office and vote in one that will be at least able to address the basic needs and aspirations of the Gambian people, because Gambians are really suffering. They are not enjoying life.
Yes. So Musa, I wanted to respond to this Fabakary Ba guy. I know he makes comments all the time on the Facebook, and there's one that captured my eye. And we're talking about Maimuna Sise, and he says, no to politics or personal attacks, but let's not reduce tribalism to the level of today's anti-Semitism. And he's talking about Netanyahu and all that. I don't know why they are calling. He said she attacks lawyer Dabo, but was that tribalism? Isn't she a Mandinka? So I think Bakari is missing a point here, and on it, quite frankly, I think you are missing what we're trying to say. You go back and listen to what Maimuna say. This has nothing to do with whether somebody is Wolof to Wolof or Mandinka to Mandinka. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what type of rhetoric was she saying at that point, and what was her underlying message, what she was saying at that rally. So if you don't understand, you can go listen to it or have someone else interpret it for you. But this has nothing to do with Mandinka to Mandinka. It's the core message, what she's trying to drive to the people of Kem. So basically, if somebody's saying, I'm a Mandinka ya Fasa, blah, blah, trying to quote some first Secretary General who passed away, blah, 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 blah. She's reaffirming that this guy is not even associated with the tribe that he claimed to be. So you go back. I don't need to, but we need to push back on these things, because I think these type of statements are very misleading and trying to bring it to a level whereby, oh, no, it's normal. It's not normal. And that's what we need to. It needs to be, you're talking about system change and all that stuff. It's not radical. It's gradual. You got to get the people in place, but you have to sanitize. And I think we need to elevate our conversation. We cannot just pick and choose who you align with, or you somehow, some stuff that is wide in the open that everyone denounce. Somehow you wanted to make it mundane, thinking that is a very minuscule of what's been happening. No, what Maimuna said is despicable, and anyone should stand and repudiate it in the highest order. It's not in what our politics is about. It's about talking to the voters, not scaring someone off, and not trying to reaffirm that someone else is more Mandinka than another. And I think it's very, very unfortunate that Mr. Ba is coming on this platform, making it like, oh, he's not Mandinka to Mandinka. We know that. We know Maimuna is Mandinka, Loya is Maimuna. So what? But the core message, what Maimuna was driving at that rally, that's what we're talking about. And I will give you opportunity to go back and listen to that carefully. That's what we're talking.
So Sarian,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you even lean on that. You see, the idea that if a Maimuna Sise, who happens to be a Mandinka, say the things that she said, well, that cannot be tribal because she's a Mandinka and directed at a Mandinka. There's
Yeah.
a problem.
Yep.
It's just like what we always do here. If Musa Jeng, who happens to be or seen as a Surwa, and I say certain things directed at the United Democratic Party or against or GMC, oh, he has to be. This is tribal. If Sariang say the same things because he belongs to the same party, or in the same tribe, oh, it cannot be tribal. Unless and until we kind of wean ourselves out of that, we are all going to be casualties or victims of this. Because you cannot, I swear, you cannot even do that. That is the dumbest thing that you can do somehow, because she's a Mandinka, so she has every right to say that, and it cannot be seen as being tribal. Sidinjai says it because he's not a Mandinka, so he is the one who is the tribalist. No. Let me tell you something about these folks, whether it's Maimuna or this person or that person. You see, and I'm going to say this, and maybe I may even get a pushback. Maybe they're not even tribal, whatever the hell that means. If anybody thinks that Maimuna Sise is doing this to safeguard the Mandinkas, you are in trouble. She doesn't care about that. If any Surwa or Pol believe in what Sidinjai is saying, directed at Alaji Usainu Dabo, UDP, somehow he's defending the tribe, you are delusional. Lolu tahuko joke. There is nothing about him that is even that. He's exploiting that. He is selfish. He doesn't have capacity. Disrespect. He doesn't think that we are worth anything. And all you need to do is go for the low-hanging fruit and put it out there. You no longer operate. When you hear something from someone else and you cannot counter it, you go for the easy thing. Oh, the only reason why he's saying that is because he's tribal. The only reason. What Maimuna said has nothing to do with whether he's a Mandinka or not. She's insulting, she's assuming that the people of Kiang, they are low IQ. She can, man, we all know what she was saying. Oh, this Alaji Usaino, you don't have to pay. You see, Nephew Yamsi, they belong to another tribe. If you guys think that this person is going to fight for Mandinkas, you are mistaken. It's easy. That's what she's driving at. And I am very hopeful that the people of Kiang are not going to fall for that. But again, Sarian, we can bring a stop to this, and that is by making sure that these people get defeated. How do you defeat them? We make the necessary sacrifices that we believe we need to make. If we think re-election of President Barrow is a threat to this country, then let's do what we have to do. For me, Fala Affair Bineka.
You know, Mos, I just wanted to shift a little bit.
Yes.
This program was created about 11 years ago by a man who is known to be the most optimistic person ever. There is not a product that you can present before him that he does not believe can have a solution to it, with a big laugh. Somebody, I think, who should be an embodiment to what we are trying to build. Because when you deal with him, other than making fun of the people from Birkama, he just sees a human being. And that is Bankamane, who yesterday graduated LLB, bachelor's in law, and will be now working on his I'm no problem on the bar to become a lawyer. This is a guy who would sit on this program. He used to sit here and say, "Come," I say, "Banka, I don't have the energy for your 9 minutes, 9 hours program, 10 hours. Anybody who comes, no, don't go nowhere, stay here." He will be here from day to night. They used to have to drive him out of the program. But Banka, we just really wanted to congratulate you for this monumental achievement. Because definitely you could have gone back to the Gambia and say, you know what, I've already got my master's degree. Let me leave it at that. But you went to school, and now you are very close to becoming a lawyer. And that way, now I can make good trouble, because I have so many lawyer friends now. I have LJ Davo, I have Sal, now I'll have Banker there. I may even call what you will call the gay so to say, you know what, wherever you are, live there and come back here. Yeah, I'll come and defend me. But Banker, congratulations. This is a great, great achievement. But congrats to the family, Mariama, for holding the fort, you know, while you were doing all that. So, and to all the graduates who graduated yesterday, I think 1,600 of them graduated yesterday from the university. Congratulations. I think Gambia now cannot be called a Gambia of uneducated people. It's like everybody has a degree.
Madu.
Congrats, Bankamane. Definitely Stanga.
Yeah. Pop Samba, when I wake up in the morning, even though I knew that obviously Banka is going to law school and he was going to graduate very soon. And then I saw your thing. I'm like, wow. No, actually, I saw Bankas, and then with the cap and the gown and the.
And he's getting fat again. You notice that? But go ahead.
But he looks good, though. Definitely does. But you see, there was something that you said in your write-up, and you used the word resilient. And one have to really flesh that word. What do you mean by Banka is resilient? To do that, I think, and the people that are asking about Yaya Menteng, he's supposed to come around now in 6 o'clock, hopefully. So that's so he's definitely still coming unless something else changes. So, Pasamba, I thought about it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, here is Banka Mane. Here is a guy who got into this liberation struggle back in the early 2000s, you know, the usual Banka. I mean, at that time, really, I mean, there was a struggle from the diaspora, but we all knew that it was a very lonely struggle. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that are watching this show today, and you can ask yourself, whether back in 2000, were you part of this struggle? And what was stopping you from not being part of it? It was dangerous and it was risky. Do you want to deny yourself not going to Gambia? 95% of us in the diaspora, we were not willing to do that. So instead, we were very careful what we say and how we say. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't Banka. But let's speak the truth. Mm-hmm. Let's find out. And I want to get to the word resilient. You see, when it was not sexy to fight against join a liberation struggle, Banka was one of the leaders. At every protest, Banka moved. Whether it's Washington, whether it's Chicago, whether it's New York.
Oh no, across the pond too.
Across the pond, mm-hmm. And also to Europe. Mm-hmm. Here is a guy at an early age. He came here like most of us. Humble beginning. Yayam amudara, bayam amudara. Just like all three of us. And lots of people that are watching. You come here, you watch, you do your thing. You fight your way. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree. Banka was married. Got a beautiful daughter called Jana. His first marriage. Banka at that time had a corporate job. Mm-hmm. Making 50 to 60,000 at that time. I'm talking about many years ago. Now it's equivalent to present value, almost 6 figures. Had a business with the wife. Banka was comfortable. Sukonehon mune effort. I have better things to do. He did not do that. One could say, and somebody like me, the marriage didn't work, the business came apart because of Banka's involvement
in the struggle. Our conference calls will take at least 6 hours, thanks to him every time. But go ahead.
But you know, there is always a blessing in disguise. Banka was resilient. Pull himself, married beautifully. I still remember when he came from Germany. You know, he sees himself say, "Hey, Faramos." Mariama was in England. Banka was in love. Fast forward, Mariama is in the US.
Banka Ametoma.
Toma. Banka have 4 kids. Banka continued the struggle. Mm-hmm. He did not waver. And I'm not saying just Bokachi Darade did it. I'm talking about being a leader in it.
In it, yep.
There's not a single thing that you can say. And anyone in the diaspora who is serving this government, Doma Wahne, you contributed more than Banka. I can guarantee you that. Each and every one of them, Banka def half a million lefunko. We all know each other. The man gave it all he got. Fast forward, found himself in jail. He was part of the D30. They were just committed and they put everything on the line. Banka was in it. He lost everything. He went to jail, no more corporate jobs, nothing. Dara. Nada. Went to jail, 215 pounds, came out of the jail, 145. I thought Banka mini da fay desi when I saw him. Resilient. He picked himself up. And he said, you know what? He couldn't find a job. He has a record. From apply. There was one job that he got. Started the job. They came a month later after doing a background, and he was dismissed from the job. You have your family, 4 kids, they're all under 15. What do you do? He said, you know what? I think Gambia could be a solution. But he didn't do the easy thing, which he could have done. Banka had a name ID. Banka was well known in the struggle. All Banka could have done is be a Sidin Yai. Mogena Yomba. And Banka could have been serving in this government. He did not do that. Banka went into the private sector. He fought his way. He decided, you know what? I think even after having a master's degree, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. When he told me, I'm like, this guy is not well. I cannot see him sitting at the classroom and I'm pursuing a degree in law. What in the world? I couldn't see it. I'm like, Banka, why don't we form a political party and do our thing? We all talked about that. Those were one of the options that we were weighing. Let me just go to law school. And boy, did he. Resilient. There's nothing in life that you're not going to run into problems here and there. The question is, do you have what it takes to come out of it? And when I saw that picture and that cap and gown, this is my man. You're talking about resilient. No one can hold him down. And I want to say congratulations, not to him, but to Mariama. When you leave your wife and your kids, and then you just sacrifice, that's difficult. And that's what he has done. And Mariama, thank you for holding the fort. Thank you for not getting rattled. And Antina, thank you for holding up the family. This cap and gown belongs to each and every one of you. All of us that are watching, that when everything is said and done, let's all live in this thing called resilient. Let's not allow the easy way out to stop us from accomplishing. And as a country, we can do the same thing. And again, congratulations to Banka. I'm yet to talk to him. He's all over the place. You call him. Yes, believe me, today I'm going to be a griot and I'm going to be Banka's griot because that is the truth.
Mm-hmm. The undiluted truth.
That is absolutely the truth. I am not saying anything that is not true. Yep. And I think one has to be a witness to call things for exactly what they are. Because I'm we all think we're all the same. Gambians are all a bunch of opportunists and they're trying to do A and B and C. Not necessarily. Not everybody is an opportunist. Definitely. But so let me.
But I gotta say something to.
Allow the brother to say something.
Can you allow me? You are getting all excited, man?
Let me call. You guys can do your thing. Let me call.
All right.
Yeah, congratulations to Banka. We spoke to him yesterday. Yeah, luckily he was at his sister's house. So, but I agree entirely. The resilience, the perseverance, and discipline. He knows what he wants and he goes get it. These things they go hand in hand. I mean, you don't get rattled, and despite all the challenges that were thrown his way, and obviously it was very, very painful, but that didn't deter him to pursue his goals, and he did it. And for that, we're all grateful, and we pray for him, the new chapter that he took, and his career path. May Allah make it successful, guide him, bring a lot of barakah with it. So, and I think we're very, very proud of him. And yesterday, he was laughing and he says, "Oh, my sisters invited me for Benachin." And
Oh yes, that always has to be on the
as Geneva and I spoke to him, and I told him that we're very, very proud of him. And Musa, even when we were in Gambia recently, and when he came to your house, and he goes, Sariang, I need to see you. I need to see you, Sariang. I need to see you because I need to go back home. I need to go study. I'm not gonna. I don't have all the time to sit alone. And I try to make his time, but he's the same guy, very humble and jovial. And as you guys all said, even in Atlanta, when we used to go to Atlanta, Banca is always busy trying to get this 4th of July together. Everyone is bankers, moving in different directions. But this is who he is, and I have no doubt he just pursued this, and then there is more successes and achievements coming his way because the man is determined and he doesn't get deterred by all the other unnecessary distractions. He knew exactly what he wants and he executed, and that's what life is about, And we're definitely grateful for the family and all the support because he cannot do this living on the other side of Atlantic. He couldn't have done it without a very strong support system. So they are very, very important in the food chain, and with that we thank the family for their support. And best of wishes to my buddy. He's a real nyancho, man. That's what I told him.
Yes, definitely.
Kabu kansala keloda banna. That's what I told him yesterday.
No. Kalilu is a star. I dug into his family history and told him his real name here. And he was, where did you get that from? I'm never going to tell him. but what you said about Banka definitely is the truth, the unalloyed, indisputable truth that is incontrovertible. Banka is just, he's way too genuine. That's his thing. He has a clean heart. It's like, of course, he can get loud. He loves food. And like I tell people, if you're checking how good a cook you are, the last person you want to ask is Banka. Because whatever Banka eats is good. There is no food that you'll give this guy and he will tell you it was not good. He would say, oh my God, this is the best food that I've ever eaten. But Banka is just the nicest human being that you can deal with. And I've always told him that he has a story that he needs to tell. I think he needs to write a book about his life. And I think it would serve as a great inspiration to a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
But you will never know it from him because when you deal with Banka is he has this positive view of everything. You can never look at him and see that he has a problem.
Definitely.
So I even came with my own conclusion as to why he lost so much. I remember when he came out of jail and Banka all of a sudden now is the best person he knows exercises more than anyone. And the Quran and all that. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. He will tell you how to do press up, how you're doing it wrong. I'm like, let's see how long this will continue, of course. Yeah. But like you said, Musa, there isn't anything that we've done in the struggle that Banka was not part of the leadership.
Exactly.
He would sacrifice. He's lost more than people will ever know fighting for Gambia. He would travel everywhere. And Banka can just deal with any human being in the world. He was resilient. He was extremely, extremely smart. And he always believes that there is a solution.
To everything.
Whatever you come up with, he has a solution. He will read. There was time. What is it? Sir Henry Thoreau or what was it?
David Henry Thoreau.
That was the thing. Everything you say, Banker would quote that guy. Henry Thoreau. Let me tell you, Musa, you see, this is the problem that you have. You don't understand. But you see, but he has always been he's just a very honest and decent human being. And I cannot be happier for him. And I believe that when he finally wear that weird cap that they wear on their heads, whoever has him as a lawyer would be having somebody who will go out of his way to make sure you get your money's worth. But Banker, again, you are a wonderful human being, and I'm just proud to call you a brother. Keep on keeping on. But you need to write a book. But we'll have to edit it because I think you may end up writing 2,000 pages. So you need you may need Juka, like Juka used to do Sigajaj. Sigajaj would write all these pages. You know, Siga likes to write a lot. And Juka would edit it into a half page. You know, but Banker, congratulations, my brother, and keep on keeping on. You are a wonderful, wonderful human being. Definitely.
The judge that Banker is going to be out there making his argument. Like you said yesterday, objection needing nobody there. Objection. Because the guy has a way of, I mean, you remember our early mornings back and forth.
Oh, yes.
And there's another thing. Banker and I don't agree on anything. That's what most people don't know. Not a thing. He would get so mad. He would say, Pasamba, he is just like, you remember Chemical Ali that used to...
Well, Chemical Ali, that was your name.
He thought, you know, my devil's advocacy and moderation. Banker hated that.
You see, let me learn. You see, this is what you do. You see, I've not even made my point here. I'm like, Banker, you've been speaking for 6 minutes already. And your point has not even arrived yet. But
oh my goodness. He's like, oh God, it's something else. But again,
you know what Mo's talking about, Banker? Your Toma Musa. I saw Banker load a post of him. There was some test. It was videotaped. I think he was the best in the class. And the way he jumped, I'm like, Domi Banker, you know, and how everybody was clapping. Oh, we know who it is. We know who it is. I'm like, oh my God. You know, I'm like, that's Musa's Toma. But he is now a grown boy.
Oh, he is.
Like, wow.
He's a smart young man, definitely. And, you know, Banker is definitely a success story. I mean, you have a beautiful, hardworking wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while you're out there doing your thing, she's holding the fort. I mean, that says a lot.
No, but Musa, with Mariama's thing, sorry for just what Banker was engaged in. Banker was always somewhere traveling.
Yes.
He would drive from Atlanta. Let him just have one person talking to him. He can drive from Atlanta to New York and back. That's no problem with him. So he was always, whether going to London, whether going to The Hague, whether going to wherever he was going. You just call him, Banker, we need jam meeting, he would find a way to go. So you have to have a very committed, understanding wife.
Of course.
You have small kids that needed to be taken care of. And of course, him moving to Gambia, doing this thing. So Mariama, Ngachengalama, this is definitely your degree, you know. Thank you very much for holding the fort, for being the great wife that everybody dreams, you know, of having. And to your mom too, thank you so very much.
Yes, without a doubt. Antina is there in, you know, definitely holding the fort. Because we all know, I mean, when you have a family, they're all going to school. I mean, it reminds me when Kaba was kind of growing up, you know, and Angamanduma Bambane cat, you know, how some people are. And Umi basically working at home, she was into braids and doing her braids. She still does that. So they've done both Keba Sadi later. So she's gonna get so mad. You know, and when Keba started doing soccer, oh my God, you know, obviously every day umeko yobu 5 o'clock, and then when weekends I'm the one who's gonna go to the tournaments and stuff. And you know how these American kids are. Bilahi. 5 o'clock, Solens and Dollar parenting for them. All they know is nyomling amal interest. So having a family in America, it is so absolutely difficult. You need all hands on deck.
Yep.
So can you imagine you have 4 kids, and this is Mariama now, that you need to take care of. Who's going to take them to school? Who's going to pick them up? They have other extracurricular. Who's going to do all of that? Dulu Yomba.
Definitely.
I remember taking Keba to a tournament an hour away, and I'm hoping upon hope. Eliminate you will be there from 12 in the afternoon, big goodie, to finals. This guy was so much into it.
So you were rooting against him?
Yeah, then so again, the point is, it is difficult. It's full-time job.
Oh yes.
And Mariama is doing this with a full-time job, manager at a restaurant. And Mariama is not playing second fiddle now. She did her own thing. She graduated Bachelor of Science. So she's holding her own, doing her own thing. Not only that, you're in school. And then you're talking about data. You're talking about all of that. It is hard. It is very, very hard. Really. And I'm sure most of you that are watching and you have young people growing up, you would definitely share this experience. So Mariama.
And Musa, I think the school also is very far because my son goes to the same school downtown
Atlanta. Yes,
on 14th Street. So I met Yotoma there and the older sister brother as well when we were praying Juma. So several times I met them and we prayed together. So it's a bit of a distance, driving and commuting and bringing the kids back. And sometimes they have curriculum after school. So a lot of heavy lifting. So definitely.
No. Nehud mom.
Yeah. Nehud. So when is your guy coming?
He just texted me actually that he's wrapping.
Saying that he's not gonna make it.
No, he's gonna make it. He said in about 15 minutes, and that was
yeah.
What time is it?
Yeah, so maybe I hope so. But before Munyo almost, I saw something. You know Mar Nyang. You know how I'm always talking so highly of Mar. And smart guy. He's been monitoring the voter registration.
Yeah.
And when I heard Mar said what he said,
right.
I'm like, then this whole voter registration is a mess. Mar is not a bomb thrower.
No.
Some people even accuse him of, he is trying to sanitize the government also.
Yeah.
But when Mar said that the level of irregularities that he has witnessed during this process, that he had never seen it since he started working or monitoring voter registration in the Gambia, and that was since Jammeh days, at least leading to 2016 elections.
Wow.
For that to come out of Mar or from Mar shows that we have a serious problem. Musa, I think the whole system, and not only Mar, because we also had the deputy chair of the IEC.
Yeah, John Najalo.
About some of the issues that they are confronted with.
Yeah.
And you have, so to me, the saddest thing in a democracy, Musa, is when the system is compromised. You see, any system can be compromised, but the system that should determine who leads a country should hold, should be one of integrity, should never be compromised. And it looks like the whole process is a mess. If you have the very institution that is overseeing it, raising alarms about some of these things, and then you have one of the most independent people in, what you might call it, you can call Mar that, because you can call him partisan. He's very independent. He's like the state Matijaus and some of these people who are, not affiliated with any party. To say that, Musa, it raises a fundamental problem that we have to confront, because definitely we cannot have elections where the elections is decided before the voting even takes place. And the way that it is going, because it is the state, they can talk about, this individual yobuna kele ko amut voters card, ki yobuna ko amut ID card, but the state has the resources, the NPP. They have the state resources. They have the wherewithal where if an opposition person takes one person to register illegally, they can take 3,000 people to register illegally. So let's have the process to be free and fair. Because if it is fair for Barrow today and Usaino and everybody running, it will be fair to anybody who becomes an opposition tomorrow. If you think you can manipulate the system, look at what happened to the APRC. When they were having their way, Jame played with our IEC, and now all of a sudden, the APRC, on whose under whose watch the IEC was created, they picked people that they wanted. They flouted the constitution in firing and replacing for so long. Now when they were in the opposition, who were they blaming the most part? The IEC, the IEC, the IEC, the IEC. So that's why let's build an institution, not for a party, but for the whole country, so that when the tables turn, you can at least look at it and say, you know what, I still have a chance because we have an institution that was built the right way. Most. And Sarian, sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Musa, I think speaking of that, thanks, Coach, for bringing this up. Last week, we were discussing, and someone brought this to my attention after the after our program. So Coach, you're good at it. So the revising code. When does it deal with like complaints? I think there is like some type of like a 2 weeks period whereby, you know, if political parties have any issues in terms of voter registration list, they can bring it to revising court. I understand that. But in terms of election day, then if an individual has been alleged not to be a non-Gambian and hold a voter registration card and head into the election booth to vote, and somehow party militants present at that moment, you know, by every indication from a village, like last week Essa said in their village there was very sure this guy was a non-Gambian, hold a voter's card. So if that individual wants to go vote, what is the right recourse at that moment?
And this is the funny part. It's just like the revising courts. Because your job, and that is, I think, to protect the process so that it's not going to be chaotic. If Musa Jeng, who is known to be from Kunguel, Senegal, is not a Gambian and comes to register, you can present your case, but you cannot stop them from registering. You can note it down, note the card number and all that, and challenging at the revising courts. Now, when it comes to election day, there was, I don't know whether we still do it, but I know the 1992 election because I was an agent. I think it's about 150 yards. No party is allowed to be conversing for votes at least 150 yards from a polling station. I remember 92 at Serakunda School, OJS people had theirs less than 250 yards. I was moving with Halifa and Adam Abba. We measured and saw that where they were, it was not within the thing, and we complained. So they came and moved their table. Now, when it comes to voting, what happens is if their name is on the register, because this is what happens when you come with Sarian Maram, you know, voting, voter card number 00032. They would announce it. I would check my voter roll to make sure that's correct. Everybody checks. As long as it is there, you cannot stop them from voting. What tends to happen, though, is if you come and we know that you are not eligible, you are not there, and don't want to create problem, you are given a different color of token. You see the invalid votes? That's what it is. So let's say if they're giving black, they will give you a yellow one. It used to be yellow. I don't know what the color is now. So that when you vote with that, that is invalid. And where it is, when they're giving it to you, all the agents are seeing it. So they know that this person is not eligible to vote. That's why they give him this. And then this is where your agents, these are very important things that your agents, but that's why you have to train them to say, you know what? Okay, Sarian came to vote at this time. This was the thing he brought. He is not registered to vote also. So we are going to that's going to be part of our election challenge. But I don't think there is anything that you can do to stop that person right there and say you cannot vote, because they already registered. This is why the most important part of the process is what is happening now. You go to revising courts, stop it. If they move from there, Saria, there isn't anything you can do. And this way,
someone brought this down, and we were discussing with Esa, because Esa is saying he reaffirmed that guy is not a Gambian, but he has a voter's card. So I'm thinking about election day. If this guy showed up and wants to vote, we can't stop him or anything like that. So what is the right recourse? And you can't take them after the fact to court. Can you?
No, you can challenge the electoral results and using that this person was, not eligible to vote and all that. And the reason for that is this principle that everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Now, it's not because you're going to have it's the law by the jungle. You can just look at me and say, "Oh, I'm not a Gambian. You are not a Gambian. You cannot vote." But what evidence do you present to say that? Because it's not enough to say, you know what, you came from Guinea, you are not a Gambian. I may have been a Gambian before traveling to Guinea, or my parents maybe are Gambians. That's why I went to Guinea and stayed there. So it's a tricky thing. This is why, and I think this is where the opposition lose every time. They knew this voters thing were happening. That's why I said here the other time, they needed to work together, educate their agents so that they will be able to pinpoint some of these issues. Now, there is something that they are doing now where they are intercepting these birth certificates and say, you know what, this is not a legitimate document, you cannot use it. That's one thing. But again, if we allow anybody to just stand there and say, you know what, Musa is not a Gambian, he cannot vote when they have a voter's card, then you may not even have an election. And this is the issue. It's a tricky one, definitely.
But Samba Sarian, you see, this is my take. I kind of overheard what you guys were saying.
Did you hear all, or you just overheard some?
I can repeat it. That way you get an unfair balance.
Because I was on the phone. This is my take. You see, when you say that the Independent Electoral Commission is even having problems, as far as I'm concerned, an assertive Independent Electoral Commission, not only do they oversee the voting, they want to make sure, as an independent entity, that even the registration is absolutely accurate. Because when everything is said and done, their job is to make sure that when elections are held, the results are going to reflect the wishes of the Gambian people, the ones that are legitimately supposed to vote. What you cannot have, though, is, you see, we kind of like this system. If we were serious, after Jammeh was defeated, attestation should have been gone. We would have built a system to make sure only Gambians would get Gambian national IDs. You see, you want to clean the system, you have to have honest institutions that are willing to do the work. If all it takes is for me to walk to Ministry of Health and get a birth certificate, anybody can get that, you're compromising the system. Because according to the Constitution or the election laws, anyone who goes somewhere with a birth certificate and saying, I want to register, how do you say that? Whose job is it to say, no, you're not a Gambian? Even though having a birth certificate in itself doesn't even mean you're a Gambian. Constitutionalists like Pap Sambaja will always remind us of that.
You're not supposed to have it anyway.
No, I mean, if you were born in the Gambia, even though...
Yeah, if you're born in the Gambia, but Musa, we're talking about situations right now. And the reason I asked this was, someone brought this to my attention after our engagement last Sunday, when ESA said they were there and someone from their village, they all know that this person is not.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I was asking Coach at that moment, well, voter registration passed. This guy has a voter registration card. He showed up to the booth to register, to vote for his preference. What is that? The guy told, this is the guy said, you cannot stop him.
No, you cannot stop him.
Yes. So I think the central theme here is right now, I think everyone needs to be vigilant and John, because they are saying there are birth certificates that are not authentic, right? And party militants and some self-appointed self-appointed vigilantes are out there, saying that
that's a problem, though. You see,
no,
because
Musa, hold on. Buy my land. So, suma jehale be pare. No. One day. When I say self-appointed vigilante, you're all over that place. But here is the thing, though. If they are out there and they are challenging people who are bringing unauthentic documents to register, how would you say that that's a problem? I mean, they are not physically violent, but they are stopping them in the process.
No, this is what I'm saying. That could create chaos.
How?
No, lima mean money. If it's left to people to determine or stop who they think should register and who's not going to register, is a problem. If Sariang is doing it, man, I'm doing it. If let's say, okay, let's call it what it is. If there is a party that is out there doing what they need to do, is the United Democratic Party. Some of these other parties are all quiet. And they cannot, after everything is said and done, to start making noise. I don't have a problem with what they are doing, monitoring. Seriously, they have to do that. The question is, how do you monitor? If UDP is monitoring, saying, oops, we think that this person is not, I mean, like you said, they're stopping somebody to register because we believe that he's not a Gambian. NPP folks are out there doing the same thing. Doi folks are out there doing the same thing. Unite folks are out there doing the same thing. That's going to be chaotic. Seriously, that is absolutely going to be chaotic. That's not what we want. What we want is, I am there representing a party monitoring. Sariang Marong is coming. I know he's not a citizen. I am going to make sure I get all the information because man, stop. It's going to left to the IEC. I can go to the IEC, but when everything is said and done, they are going to make the judgment. They look at the birth certificate. They know that this is fraudulent. Man, I do believe they should not register that person. Even though you're sitting there, as long as you have a birth certificate, you should register him. No, I mean, it doesn't work like that. If I am the IEC rep, I'm sitting there. You walked in, you give me a birth certificate, I'm looking at it. I'm going to use my judgment too. I mean, this cannot be just a robotic.
Correct.
I can say, you know what? I need more information. And you can do it through the interview. Where were you born? I was born in Kaur. Can I say bye? I mean, you can do your, I mean, I don't think that the law says that the moment they present the document, just register the person like a robot. I don't think that's how it works. But what you cannot have, though, is an other party militant, because it's not been a video. I mean, these people somewhere, I think it's somewhere in the provinces, these people were fighting. I mean, that is not how the system is supposed to work. The people that are given the responsibility to do their work, what would I do? If Sariang Manon walks in and I know that he's not a citizen and he's registering, I am going to gather all the information that I need. Revising code, so over 1 year. We are going to challenge every person that we have a problem with and allow people like Justice Daite. Thank God we have an independent judiciary. If you
here's the thing, though, Mose. I understand your concern about what is happening now, and this comes back to if a system is not trusted. Sibopa.
Yes.
Let's look at our courts. When they're making a decision, do you see the need for people to go there and say, you know what, we're going to make sure the judge will not have the right decision? A Justice Jaite. You know what? This guy is fair. He's going to do what they're supposed to do. And this is what I was alluding to earlier. When a system is weakened to the extent that it loses credibility, then the whole process is undermined. The reason why people are standing there, making sure that, Kidu register, Kidu, it's just like what Esa was saying the last time. I saw somebody called Hamne Ornamane is not a Gambian. Came to the Gambia less than 3 years ago, but was able to vote. The system is broken, Musa. And this is why it is important for the IEC not to be seen to be partisan.
Yes.
This is why when my friend, my former classmate, Joe, made the statement that he made, he undermined the partiality. Okay? The impartiality of the IEC and the integrity of the IEC. All of the kunyo tam domangay socho elilir. That's what they're doing. If everybody is looking at you, you know what, with suspicious eyes, Musa, you have to prove to those people, man, I am honest, and I'm going to do this thing the right way. And this is where the problem starts. The lack of trust that most of the political operatives have in the system is the reason, is one of the contributing factors to the chaotic nature that you see, where people are going there, the HO, or do the in the Halibu 10 years, and that's what they're doing. They're bringing.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm telling. I seriously believe that we are all saying the same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Because the system is messed up. But then, who's responsible? How do we fix it? We had 10 years since we sent Jammeh packing to come up with laws to make sure that the system is airtight, to make sure that even the Independent Electoral Commission, really, now, in as much as we do agree that the president, maybe per the constitution, more muna appoint the Independent Electoral Commission, but we should make it in such a way, he wouldn't even have the powers to remove that person. And in consultation with the National Assembly. Again, it's going to come down to the laws. Attestation, it's a vein that they've been using to mess up the system. Then let's find a way of eliminating it.
And you know what, unfortunately, Musa? Unfortunately, and I've said this, let's not go back to... No. They had the opportunity few months ago. Few months ago. Not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, few months ago, when election is hovering over us. They went to the National Assembly, turned the whole process into a clown show.
Exactly.
That was how they denied the diaspora the right to vote and came up with this cacophony interpretation of the Constitution, which is a lie. What they said there was a lie because the Constitution, that's not the language of the Constitution. They had the opportunity to fix this problem. And these are my National Assembly members, your National Assembly members, and all of them. They looked the other way. Now we are now paying the price of a National Assembly that did not do its job. And that's the problem.
Pasamba, if I were to pick up a phone and call somebody from immigration and say, you know what, hey bro, I'm Suma Bena boy. I really want him to get a national ID. He's trying to do A, B, and C. Apparently, there's a Suma cousin, there's a Tuba Salum from the Senegal. No, I'm just telling you, honest to God. And then I work with this guy and send Kobena $200 or $150. I can guarantee you that person is going to have a national ID. More likely than ever. So the question is, the system is messed up. And until we fix that, because nobody cares about fixing it. Everybody cares about how do I exploit it or get a leg up. That's all they care about. The government of the day, they believe they can go there. Look, we already have 900,000 registered voters. Can you imagine? So if that 900,000 is messed up, come on now.
Okay. So I guess here I try to flush this out as much as possible. So at that point, I get the concept of revising court. So if party militants together with IEC officials, and of course there's law enforcement present, and someone comes in, maybe by age, by default, because they have to come in person, and they suspect that this person doesn't have the age, let's say the pay, or the birth certificates that they have, it's not real, right? Maybe it's tampered with. Now they're all out there. This person comes in and party militants object to that and say, oh, somehow we're suspicious of the document. That's not illegal, is it? It's not illegal. And also, further down, do we think that IEC, despite objection, and we knew that this person doesn't have the age, do we need to still wait for the revising court, or IEC could have the power? They have the power based on the laws to say, you know what? We'll pause this registration.
Yes.
We need to do further steps to validate those documents.
I agree. Like I said, they are not robots. If somebody comes in and I question Nekini, definitely, Ki Amut 18, even though he's providing me with a birth certificate, that is, like I said, it may not even be questionable. It's a real birth certificate that they got it from the health department. Why you have a system? That doesn't mean a damn thing. Mm-hmm. You were born in 1965, 1975. They will do that. Now, if that person presents it, man as an IEC person, and I'm independent, And I seriously believe that I want to make sure that the election, there is integrity, is free and fair. Ma xool la ne yow amulo 18. I'm like, mane, bul ma yab. How old are you? Just squeeze them further. You know what I mean? What month were you born? Where? What date? Before you know it, he'll be fumbling all over the place. What I'm saying though, it would not be the job of the person that is monitoring to do the enforcement. Because the moment you do that, affair bit of a jahaso. Understand? It's going to come down to fighting. And we know how that is going to fly. But as a person monitoring, I will take the information. I'll go to even if the IEC failed to do what he's supposed to do. If he fails to do what he's supposed to do, as a monitor, I'm gonna go. I'm like, Pasamba, being the IEC person, I have serious question that this person is 18th. And I'm not sure why you let it happen. But I want the name, the registration number, and everything documented. That's as far as you can go.
Okay.
I don't think, it is legal for you to sit there and say, you know what, key didn't go register.
Okay, so Musa, I get that. I think we all know that the system is not the best. How do we start cleaning it up, right? So if you said disruption, if I have 20 people in line and I have 5 people who came in with documents that are questionable, I mean, think about it. We have until April, blah, 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 or May 16 to complete this supplemental registration.
Right.
One day this incident happened and there's 20 people in line and I have this issue to deal with. I would not mind as an IEC person. I'm just telling you this because, if you have an issue and you need to fix it, it's systematic. It's not going to be, you know what? We're gonna close the registration down today, and we're gonna look into it tomorrow. We're gonna start back up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying this hypothetical, and I'll go in there because those 5 individuals, they don't have the right document. It's important to sanitize those documents and get it right. If it's gonna take 3 hours to interview them to ensure to get to the bottom of this, rather than giving them a voter's card, which is not. They're not entitled or eligible to vote in our process. I think it's okay to take a break for that day to fix that problem and come back tomorrow. I mean, that's what it is, especially if there's now 100,000 people registering within the next 6 months. That's the process that I will probably look into. And I'm not trying to be idealistic here, but I think it's important if we look at it. The IEC person has power to do that at that moment, but we have to wait for the reversing call. Or if that person somehow by default got issued a voter registration card, we can't do anything about it. On the election day, he can come and vote. So what options do we have there to deal with?
I totally agree with you. The IEC person should not proceed and register that person waiting for a revising court. If he has questions that this person, you know what, Keyman, I don't think he's actually a Gambian, either by age or he's not, he's not qualified to have a voter's card. I'm not going to give it to him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There has to be a judgment call somewhere just because you provide a document. And I don't think that person...
Here is the thing though, Mos, Lingerewa. Because when the act was passed, there is a provision in it, and that is the Commission shall not reject a valid document produced under subsection 2. And the valid document is whether it's a birth certificate, a Gambian passport, a national identity card, or an attestation from a alcalo or civil certifying that he or she is a Gambian. So as long as the document looks valid, your registration cannot.
But
they cannot reject it. And
the key word is a valid document.
That's what I'm saying. So the problem boy Musa, this is a new system, fake fiction call.
Wow.
You'll have this issue.
Yes.
If you go to it is harder to get an ID card than to get a voter's card. Because they ask you for all these things. I went to get an ID card. Because I have my Gambian ID card, I'm not illegal to expire, and passport, I got them all together to change my passport, which I use again. But what I'm saying, the system needs to, we need to cleanse the whole system to where it's going to be impossible for you. Because do you know those birth certificates? They have the red stamp, the empty forms. They are there. The red stamps. All it takes is Musa Jeng bin tur. Musa Jeng kuy bayam, Usman Jeng kuy. They just write.
That's what they were saying. Yeah.
And then somebody signs it. So you should at least, this is where it should be. The signature on it must be, you have to have a commissioner of whatever it is. Ko xamne at that period, signature rek mo muna nek ci birth certificate during the time tenure bi. But anybody can sign the birth certificate. So you have, the system needs to be changed. Si bopam. Because anybody, like you said, Musa, somebody wrote here, I think it's a CNC, France Taini. The amount of Senegalese with a Gambian passport is just unimaginable. So that Senegalese who has a legitimate Gambian passport, if you were to go to the Gambian and the man registered to vote, you know, component super passport. The passport is a legitimate document, and according to the act,
it will be very difficult.
You cannot reject it. So unless we change the system, where you, board of hell, Musa, I went there and had a big fight with them.
Yeah.
Because even to prove that you know, Papa J1, what about Yaji Kahamne Moko Jurnak? Kongamne Mo Biro on Halibiti for 9 months. What is that? I even had a big debate with them about who is a citizen and who is not. After Commissioner of Anyone Waji, what Mr. Jaw is saying is right. So you have people who do not even understand what the laws are.
I mean,
you go to the Board of Health, Nyom Musa Jeng nga xamne ngi judd 1943. You cannot even find those records anymore. Everything papers piled up all over. It's a mess.
1943. But Pasamba, this is the thing. We can blame Independent Electoral Commission all we want. The problem is with the system, and there is this lack of political will. Like I said, ñun Gambian ku ci nekk li nga xam rek moy sa soxla.
Yep.
Even Gambians in the diaspora, there are a lot of people that are watching now. Ñoo gëna dëngama dëngaleen. When they go to Gambia and they want something get done, they'll bribe their way to get that document and move it on. Suma soxla rek la xam. Now, you know, in America, to get a birth certificate, a US birth certificate, la ilaha illallah.
Even the ID now. The real ID.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Hunger. I mean, it's just almost impossible because Khalibi from Judo, Lopitanbi. I mean, the person there's just a lot of things that are going to be involved.
So Musa, I listen to this, man. This problem is complicated than what we're thinking, and there is not a quick fix to this right now, especially before election. But now, thinking about and listening to all this, what do you think is the immediate? I mean, we also have people who are eligible to vote, who are Gambian, bona fide Gambian citizens, who are born, raised in Gambia, from 2021 to 2026. Now, where do you think the focus should be? Trying to tap into those new voters, get them out from the woodwork, to come out there and tell them, no matter how much ineligible voters you're trying to register, but if you get those folks to come out who are eligible and they are bona fide Gambian citizens to register and participate. So where do you think the energy should be? I'm trying to, because in order for all these systems to be sanitized, you have to have a new government who has the political will.
Yes.
Also, to change these laws, you have to have a national assembly, majority of who will be willing to implement these laws and vote them in and implement them as a law.
Absolutely.
So if we don't have those, now we are right in the middle. Now, what is the game plan here? And I'm trying to help out. You know, the Bunga man with the low political antenna. I'm trying to help out. What is the solution?
Let me tell you my take. In 7 months, we're going into the polls. Most of us believe that maybe the data is messed up. While we are hoping upon hope that there are enough voters that can vote against this government to send them packing. So we just thinking because we did it in 2016. That's most people's calculation. No matter how significant, how material enough to tilt the election in a certain way, we want to roll the dice on that. But if the opposition believe, the entire opposition, that the system is rigged, that the data, the register, it's compromised, they can say, what, you know what? We're not going to have elections because the data is messed up. They all speak with one voice and their supporters and say, this is an emergency. We are not going to participate in this election. We're going to use mass mobilization, and we're going to say that that data needs to be flushed out. Maybe that's the extreme. So there are two choices. We either, you know what, even though the system is messed up, but we can still overcome it to convince more Gambians, because clearly we have more Gambians registered than non-Gambians. I have to believe that, because we were able to defeat a dictator who messed up with the register and did his thing, but we're still able to defeat him. So there are people falling ko yakare. The other option, moine, sufekene, this thing is a done deal. Barrow is elected because of the system is rigged. Then maybe we shouldn't go into the elections. We can say, you know what? We don't trust the register. So we have to make up our mind as an opposition party. But we can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't we just cannot. If all we're trying to do is for us to get a leg up, or maybe to create a situation when after everything is said and done, okay, election is ko sacha. No, it's too little, too late. We have to make up our mind. We either don't go into the polls until this thing is fixed, or we do what we have to do as an opposition, form a coalition, and go in there and vote this man out. Even accent such a because you can always do that. I mean, in America, it's happening right now. What are we seeing? This gerrymandering all over the place. Louisiana, what did they decide to do? They suspend their primaries so that they can go in there. Mississippi is doing the same thing. Alabama is doing the same thing. All they're trying to do is for them to get a leg up. I think there is Honorable Yaya.
Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, Honorable. How are you?
I have to apologize. These countrymen in the first place. I was in a meeting since in the morning.
Yes.
In fact, I told them after because these gentlemen, these Americans, I fear them before they will.
I saw your picture and you were showing me you guys were at a meeting.
Yeah,
So
I say I cannot afford to have Americans trouble this evening.
I hear you.
It's also especially retired military officers. That's what I cannot afford their trouble.
Thank you very much. Don't go out. Stay on. Anyway,
yes, sir.
I'll let you start the thingy.
Yeah, no, well, yeah.
Yes, Coach, how are you?
I am great. Welcome to For the People by the People. I think this is your first time coming.
No,
this is my second time.
Oh, this is your second time.
Yeah, this is my second time.
Yeah, I'm going to start from somewhere else. Before you go into your NP, what's your UMC?
UMC as you Movement Unite as Party, yeah.
Yes. So you are a member of the National Assembly.
That is correct.
Recently, you had an opportunity, the whole National Assembly, to correct our electoral processes.
That is correct.
And you gave us a bill.
Yes.
Which is now being acted on by the IEC to register Gambians. And we've seen a very chaotic process.
That's correct.
What was your position on attestation of voters by alcalos and safe-holders? What was your personal position on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. My position to attestation was the same position with other opposition members in the National Assembly. But what happened is we were bullied by NPP. They used their majority and bullied us. Because initially, some of us contested very seriously that alcalo attestation, because of lack of its security, should be removed. Do you understand? But the NPP majority caucus, as I said before, used their numbers and bullied us. and subsequently we have it. But our initial reaction to Alcalo attestation was it must be removed during debate, during the committee of the whole house, and even during voting. Because I remember we voted against, we voted for it, and we were bullied by the NPP majority. Second time also, somebody brought a motion to expunge it from the records of our proceedings, and that one also NPP members voted for it, and subsequently we have it in the Electoral Act. Very sad.
So now you are a member of the UMC.
That's correct.
Every Gambian, for the most part, those who care or pay attention, want to know what is holding up your registration. So as one of the executive members of that party, even though you guys have no, I don't think you guys have a congress yet to elect a permanent body. What is the state of your registration process as a political party in the Gambia?
The social, the process of our registration process, I can tell you, is going very smoothly. Is going very, very fine. We held series of consultative meetings with the IEC. What people fail to understand, Koja, IEC cannot deny any Gambians to come together and form a political party or a political organization. They can only guide you in the process. Our initial submission, I was one of those who lead delegation to the IEC when they detected some issues in our submission. Part of those issues was first part of our constitution still mention or maintain UMC, United Movement for Change, and the party we want to register was Unite. So when they called us for that meeting, they said they want clarity on that. We said yes, this one is human error. We definitely wanted to register Unite, not UMC. But part of the constitution, I think 3 or 4 pages contain Unite. So we removed that. Another thing was about our party color. They said if we are going to maintain those party colors, it's like they are going to print or make a lot of borrowed drums. That can be very, very costly. For that one, they said they are only begging us if we can kindly make it two colors to go vertical, so that when they are printing the borrowed drums, it can be very, very, very easy for us. So the other thing, the major issue, part of the 30,000 signatures we submitted was most of the signatures were UMC. So, and also some signatures were Unite. So when they realized the signatures that were Unite were less than 10,000, and signatures that were UMC was more than 20,000, and we wanted to our party, the party we want to register, should be United UMC. So by way of that, we shortfall. That's number one. Number two, another thing that our forms, but in those days, everybody was excited. This was the maiden days of United Movement for Change and Unite. The name was also very clear. So from some people who also fill the forms, like for instance, you go to KMC. IEC designated name for KMC is KM, not KMC. So some of our forms were KMC. You go to Banjul. IEC designated name for Banjul is not BCC, is Banjul. So you go to West Coast. IEC designated name for West Coast is West Coast, not become area council. So you go to Masakonko. IEC designated name for Masakonko is Masakonko, not LRR. So some of the forms. Because our boys and girls were excited, we don't pay attention to those petty details. Some were for KMC, instead of KM, they were like KMC. Instead of Banjul, BCC. So you see, when IEC detect all of that, they call us for a meeting and said, yes, the signatures are good, but these names are names that is not recognized by the IEC, so we have to go back. So when we go back for the final verification, we've conducted everything. I can assure you that now the forms we have before the IEC is more than how do I call it 10,000 signatures. They have done their entire electronic verification. I am sure right now what IEC is doing with their forms will be social verification. But I can tell you for sure we are in order. All the doubts and every doubt that we have as per our registration, both for the constitution, both for the signatures, everything is fine, and we are now waiting the IEC to give us our registration document so that we can be a legitimate party, a bona fide party in this country to be able to contest 2026 presidential election as Unite as a party, please.
All right, thank you very much, Saria.
Honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang. First of all, I must observe safety because it's a big deal to me, and I'm hoping you are not driving and talking to us on the program. Are you?
No, it's okay.
I hope you're not doing that, though. Huh?
I'm free. I'm free. We can talk. It's not heavy. It's not heavy traffic.
No. But what I'm trying to say is you cannot be driving, and especially if you're in the rural Gambia and talking to us on the phone. And we want you to witness the elections, and those roads are dangerous. I must also say that that's very unsafe. Or if you have a driver, have the driver drive, and you can talk to us on the phone. That I want to go on the record to say that. And also, as a sitting MP, I don't think you should be the person in violation of the law. We should preserve the law, not preserve the violence. So I wanna bring that for the record. So if you can pull for a minute and we can talk, I think it's good. So, but Honorable Menteng Sanyang, I heard you loud and clear. You said NPP bully you. What do you mean by that? I think I wanted to kind of hear you clearly. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I didn't hear your first part, sorry.
I said your first exchange with Coach. I heard you say, your answer to the attestation question. You said you guys fought it, but MPP NAMs bully you guys. So what do you mean by that?
With their majority, that's correct.
So what do you mean?
Yeah, when bills are introduced before the National Assembly, it goes through of the old house. We go close by close. So during that close by close approach to the bill, the Alcalo attestation, we wanted to remove it because we feel it was undemocratic. It's not a very progressive law in this 21st century. So opposition members in the National Assembly, including my former party UDP, in those days I was in the UDP actually, we wanted to remove it. We contested against it. We debated against it, and in the committee of the whole house, we wanted to remove it. But NPP National Assembly members insisted that it must be there. And National Assembly, we have to vote. So subsequently, we voted for it, and they were able to secure the majority votes. And by way of that, it becomes a law in our electoral act.
Okay, thank you. So our earlier discussion was pretty much centered around how mess our voter registration. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Yep.
Okay. So I said earlier, Coach and I and Musa, for about an hour plus, we were talking about how mess our how a mess is our voter registration process, from registration until the time where voters head to the polls. And, all that centers around because the National Assembly and also, there was no political will to, in fact, put controls in place and effect change how non-Gambians could possibly acquire our
there was
national
no Gambian network, man. That last part of your speech, Saria.
Yeah. No, I was asking, in your capacity as a National Assembly member, we already know that our electoral process, registration until the point where we vote, is a mess. What would you, as a sitting National Assembly, recommend, or would you do in your capacity to support reforms of our electoral system?
Gambian network is breaking. Sorry, at one point I'll hear you. At one point I'll hear you. At one
Honorable Menteng, can you hear me?
Sorry, huh?
Sorry, Yangi.
Can you hear me, Yaya?
Sorry, your line is breaking.
No, but I think it's on your end. Faramos and Coach, you guys can hear me, can't you?
Oh
Yes,
yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. I think
from
it's
his end.
so Yaya, can you hear me?
I'm hearing Coach. I'm hearing Mr. Musa Jengborg Sariang. I'm difficult to hear you, please.
So, hello. No, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Honorable, do you wanna? Can you hear us? We are thinking about maybe using WhatsApp. Maybe if it's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can use WhatsApp. Yes, I'm hearing you. We can use any medium.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Sariang, let me give it a shot, and then we'll come back to you again. So can you hear me, Honorable? Yeah. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, Musa.
Yeah, it looks like there's a delay. So my question, I mean, most of us, most Gambians, they get their political nurturing from their community, from their family. Can you walk us through your political journey until
Also going down.
how you ended up at the United Democratic Party?
Repeat that, please, Mr. Jeng. It's like I think it's my network, man.
Yeah, tell you
Just
what.
Gambian network. It's like people are fluctuating.
Why don't you call me on WhatsApp?
Yes, please.
Hang up and then call me on WhatsApp. Osama, we'll do it the way we did it the last time. I think.
Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, because I don't think me. And Sariang, you can just go ahead. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm right here. So, Honorable, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay.
I'm hearing you now. Yes.
So he has to put one listing off.
Yeah, turn the video off. Turn the video off.
The video
just mute it.
If not, it's gonna echo. So just hang up the maybe I can.
The link go on. Drop him.
I can drop you. Okay. So can you hear me? Honorable. Oh, what happened? Hello? Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Sariang, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're on mute. I don't know. I mean, he called. Maybe he'll call back.
So UMC to have a internet issue?
No, it's not a UMC problem. It's a Gambian problem. I wouldn't call it that.
I think I need to take my uncle to Arlo because my uncle is directly in violation of the laws that they are trying to enforce.
Let him also wear his seatbelt.
Yeah, he needs to wear his seatbelt. Yeah. This whole driving in the province is that. Yeah,
okay. We're back. I'm gonna let Sariang continue. Okay,
Honorable Sanyang. So my question to you is, obviously we have a systematic problem in our electoral process, from registration all the way to voting. My question to you is, what is your capacity, in your own individual capacity as a sitting National Assembly member? What do you think we should do in order to reform the system? But the background here is, we all know acquiring our national documents is very, very easy, and the system is corrupted. How do we sanitize, and what are the steps necessary to take in order to ensure that only the national documents are only issued to bona fide Gambian citizens who meet the requirement to become a Gambian citizen?
Only powerful tool by a National Assembly member in his toolkit is legislative proposals or legislative amendments. But right now, we can do this, or I can do this through a private member bill that is to be able to bring in legislations that's going to remedy or amend the existing loopholes we have in our legislations, in our present legislation that safeguard the registration process. But if you ask me, will I be able to have this successful before the flow of the parliament? It is no. It will allow it. The NPP will never allow any document, because National Assembly, what we agree on, 1, the Carlo, 2, BAB certificates, 3, national identity card, and 4, passport. This is what the National Assembly agreed that every applicant before the IEC must produce for you to be certified, or for you to be qualified to obtain the voters card. So and NPP knows, they knew why they insisted on this Alcalo attestation that it must be. But we told them, as I said before, it's not democratic, so not a very progressive law. But to answer your question, the only thing I can do is to bring in legislative proposals. But I don't want to tell you anything like it's going to be possible. This loophole. But if you ask me whether it will be successful in the flow of the parliament, it will not happen. But they will not allow it.
Okay, thank you. Musa, go ahead.
So, Honorable Menteng, I mean, yes, most Gambians, they hear Yaya, and now Yaya is part of the UMC. Can you tell us, walk us through your political journey? Most of us, we get our political nurturing either from a community or from family and certain influences. Can you walk us through your journey all the way up to becoming a member of parliament, a National Assembly member for the United Democratic Party?
My political journey is I was calculating that I was intend to be a politician, but in 2016, 2017 parliamentary election, I remember the late Tumbul Samate, chairperson for Kian Central House. It was at night. Because of I was really helping Kian Central Politics in those days. He came with this committee to my house. It was after dinner. He said they want me to contest the National Assembly election for Kian Central. So in those days, we were just starting the OIC. Preparations were on this infrastructure intervention. I told them I don't think I'm ready for politics now. But my younger brother, the same mom and dad, Fafa Sanyang, is interested. If I can be able to present Fafa to them. Those Tumbul and the committee told me, if I am the very person that is interested, they definitely want me to to contest on behalf of UDP ticket. I told them at this moment I'm not prepared. In those days, National Assembly salary was very poor, and I had some projects that I was doing. That's number one. Number two, when I also moved to my house in how do I call it? In Laming, 2022, before the parliamentary election, came back in the chairperson for Busumbala constituency, because Laming falls on the Busumbala constituency. also came to my house and said he want me to contest, or he want me to write an application to be a member of parliament for Busumbala constituency. I told him, Nakeba, if I am going to contest as National Assembly, I'm going to do it in Kiang, where I was born and bred, and Fajikunda or Latrikunda, where I resided over 20 years. But Busumbala, I just came in here less than a year. I don't think I have the political routines and influence to contest elections and win. So the following week, also, I think after 2 weeks, people of Fajikunda, led by their councillor Baba Jabi, also came to my house. They said they want me to contest National Assembly elections for Latrikunda Sabji constituency on behalf of UDP. So it's like three requests. One was 2016 and 2017 rather. The other two requests were 2022 before the parliamentary election. So that was the time I told my wife, I think I have to give it a shot now, because my job at the OIC is not secured anymore. After this presidential election. I know when my contract expires in April, they're going to terminate my contract. So before that, let me try to let me see if I can venture politics. So I told Baba Jabi and team, okay, no problem. You guys give me time. I'm going to consult my family. So I consulted my family and friends, and many people at the time thought that this is practically impossible because the vote difference between Usainu Dabo and Barrow in Latrikunda Sabji constituency was like 8,000 plus vote difference. So Usainu was 10,000, Barrow was 18,000 plus. So they thought my friend, they are not very comfortable with that. They say, oh, no, this is not going to work. So, but I told them I'm going to give it a shot. I told them I'm going to give it a shot and see what happened. So when I consulted my family, these calls are coming. When I consulted my family and friends, and some agree, like, I don't think you can be able to make it. But I said, no, let's just, if we're going to devise a new political start, you can be able to win the constituency. So I accepted, because my job, I never intend to be a politician, but I accepted it because my job at OIC secretariat was not very safe, because I know by April, as I said, they're going to terminate my contract. Because I was in the opposition during campaign, and I was recorded by a friend who took my audio to State House. Barrow listened to it, Secretary General, everybody. My CEO at the OIC called me and played the audio. I said, yeah, this is me, but I didn't think I'm scared, because I didn't break the law. I only told my friend, let's not vote for Barrow. He is incompetent. He cannot win elections. So in the world, my friend was recording me and give it to one guy at NPP who also went and take the audio to the State House. So by way of that, I know my contract at OIC after April will be very insecure. It's already insecure, and my service will be terminated. So this is how I enter politics, actually.
Yes, you entered politics. You won under a UDP ticket. You become a National Assembly member. So yeah. Fast forward. You are one of the folks that joined what I would call the UMC breakaway from the UDP. Can you explain to us the political strategy, behind this breakaway? Because you guys, part of UMC, yourself, Talib, Ibrahim Adiba, Kemo, you are part of the UDP running against Barrow in 2021. And clearly, you guys were defeated by a landslide. So what would be the political... So I said, you guys contested in 2021 with the United Democratic Party. You were there, Talib was there, and Ibrahim Adiba was there, Kemo was there.
That's correct.
And you guys were defeated by a landslide. And here, my question is, what is the political strategy behind this breakaway? And can you explain to us? Because most people are saying this is going to make it even much more difficult for the opposition. How do you rationalize it? What is the strategy behind the breakaway? And why the breakaway at this time?
Well, I think first, let me have this record straight. I did not join the UMC. We formed the UMC. We formed the UMC because we want to have electoral success, and we know our candidate, which is Talib Ahmed Bensouda, You see, let me tell you people how Barrow won 2021 presidential election. Musa, I can tell you, if you're in this country, you will know President Barrow don't have organic support from Gambians. This is why if you look at presidential election, after the presidential election, you look at National Assembly election, Barrow's majority got slimmer. You go to local government election, the majority got more slimmer than it was in the National Assembly election. Councillor election, it gets further slimmer than it was in the mayoral or chairmanship election. So that is signaling that Gambians don't have natural and organic love for Barrow. They don't. They understand. So for me,
yeah, it's reconnecting. I hope it's not moving out. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Where did I stop?
You said Barrow doesn't have organic support. I mean, all you not need. Yes.
Exactly. And I give you examples. If you look at the margin in the presidential election,
right?
You come to our election, National Assembly election, the margin got slimmer. You go to the mayoral and the councilorship election, the margin in fact was more slimmer. So what is that? Gambians don't just voted for Barrow for the sake of it in presidential election, just to deny probably UDP and Hussein Dabo to be president of this country. But this is why we feel that Taliban should have had an opportunity that can be able to galvanize Gambians into a very powerful political force against Barrow in 2020 to conduct this election with voter roll more than 1 million voters. I can tell you that for sure. Because at the end of this exercise, IEC might likely have over 200 or 250,000 supplementary voters added up to our 900 and something thousand voters already. It means next election we are going to conduct election with a voter population or a voter roll more than 1 million people. So therefore, this and Gambians, I can tell you, Gambians want it. But they are only looking for a viable candidate, a viable option that they can be able to galvanize and organize themselves into a very powerful political force against Adama Barrow, against the president. And right now, the only candidate that can be able to galvanize, that can be able to make excitements out of Gambians, come together, organize themselves, and vote against NPP government is Talib Ahmed Bensouda. We have that confidence. So that is why we break away, because UDP had an opportunity. Talib Ahmed Bensouda, with all his fame and success opportunities, is still an opportunity for UDP. So UDP failed to utilize the opportunity. Like, for instance, when Barrow, with all due respect, Barrow was UDP's success. We couldn't manage our success. Now we have seen an opportunity. We are not able to clearly manage our opportunity. And even human being or any institution that progress in this world, you must be able to manage success and opportunities. All of you out there, by the time you enter Europe, America, you are not able to manage your success opportunity. By now, you are going to be failures. So either it is a human being or an institution, success and opportunities, you must be able to manage to be successful. So to manage success can be very difficult. Managing Barrow as our success in those days was very difficult. But we have to manage our success. Now, if we had managed Barrow as our success, by now, what are we thinking of? Who's going to manage? Who's going to succeed Barrow? Is it Yaya Ment? Is it Hussein Dabo? Is it Ibrahim Diba? Is it Xavier Maro? Now we've been thinking of who's going to succeed Barrow. To be in a problem of selecting flag bearer as an opposition. So that is why I feel that I want to be part of a political organization that can manage it is for growth and success. But if we are not able to do all of these things, then we are going to be in the opposition for the rest of our life. So to answer your question, we've realized that Talib is an opportunity, is the only viable candidate, an opportunity for Gambians to be able to come together and vote against NPP government.
Thank you. Pop Samba.
Now, Yaya, you've indicated in your answer, and I've read some of your writings, that you believe that UDP missed an opportunity, because if they had Talib at the helm, UDP would have won the presidency. every time there is a press release about coalition building, I see your party
Yes.
and UDP in that list. Will the UMC, under any circumstances, back a coalition where the candidate is Mr. Dabo of the UDP and not Talib Bensouda?
For us, thank you very much for that important question, Coach. You see, UMC, all what we are after is a clear, transparent national consultation, national conference of all opposition organizations in this country. If anybody that is recommended by that consultative approach, is selected by that national conference, be it Ousseynou Dabo, be it Halifa Sallah, be it Mama Kande, UMC, we will listen to Gambians because we are here to listen to Gambians. We are not going to be that kind of political field. We are so structured because I can tell you right now, the most politically structured political party in this country is UMC. We have our villages, we have our village structures. For the first time, a political organization has village structures over 1,900 some people. This country is UMC. Of this. You're not going to bluff about this. But anybody that the consultative approach, a conference of delegates choose to lead the coalition, the UMC, I can tell you, we are going to follow that person. We irrespective of anybody.
So if that is the case, then why leave the UDP? Because if you had indicated, based on what I've been hearing from your people, is that Ousseynou is not winnable. And this is why you guys felt the need to break away and form another entity. So the question is...
Ousseynou is not yes.
Yes, so if Ousseynou is not winnable, leading to you leaving a party, some of you have been in that party for a very long time, to form another entity, why would you then support that guy again in an other arrangement, whether it is transparent or not transparent, whether it is broad-based or not broad-based? So which it is? Is it because of the leadership or because of Ousseynou is not winnable?
Well, Ousseynou Dabo, as a UDP candidate, and UDP is going solo in the election, might also be different from where opposition parties agree to form coalition in this country. I can also tell you that.
Yes.
So some of our guys say Hussein is not a winning candidate. I think they are right per se, but this can be different if it is a leader of a broad-based coalition in this country. So for us, we believe the opportunity for UDP to be able to galvanize Gambians to rally behind the party was to choose Talib Ahmed Bensouda as the head of the party, because Ousseynou Dabo tried 5 consecutive times. And I always tell people, after 5 consecutive times, myself, I cannot grab risk and failure at plain sight. So for me, I realized that Ousseinou's candidature for 2026 presidential election is risk and failure, and it's not hidden. It's at plain sight.
Thank you, sir.
It's not that we are selfish or we just want to win elections, because Gambians cannot afford to have Barrow win a 2026 presidential election. And the most competent, the most viable candidate, as I said before, that Gambians can easily rally behind to defeat Barrow in 2026 is Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Until you are not in this country, but even if you are not in this country, you follow the political narratives or transactions in this country, you realize that Talib posed the biggest challenge to
Thank you, Honorable. Brother Maron.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Sanyang. Honorable Sanyang, my question to you is, I heard you said voters are not usually organic to a certain candidate or political party. But now, considering 2021, and they alleged there was a lot of voter irregularities. And obviously this year we've seen the same thing happening. We had complaints, and earlier Koipa Sambayo mentioned Marnyang, who leads Gambia Participates, who is not affiliated with any political party, also registers some irregularities. Knowing what you know, what do you think should have been done differently? And what are some of the steps, considering all the political party, in fact, should do to ensure that our election is credible, and also people who are eligible to vote are the only folks that should take part in our electoral process?
With this voter registration irregularities, for me, what I always tell people, especially when there was an issue in my constituency with regards to IEC officers and some elements, what I made clear to the IEC officers that day was National Assembly members were very clear. The law is very clear what to be.
Yeah, it looks like the line is coming in and out. I don't know whether you.
How do I call it? ID card. I'm hearing you.
Yeah. I mean, we lost you there for a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you are hearing me now.
We're hearing you now.
Yeah, sometimes the local calls, when they come in, they disrupt.
Yeah.
So what those documents are very, very clear. And that is why during this registration process, every party has agents sitting at the registration centers. For me, it is not always the rights of any political party or any political parties jointly to go to the registration centers and want to disrupt this exercise. The law is very, very clear. That exercise, the law provided for revising court. Like for instance, Honorable Yaya Ment, I'm sitting at the registration center, and on behalf of United Movement for Change, or United as a party, if I am suspicious of any applicant, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the details of that applicant, and that is why the law further provided. If I got suspicious of any applicant, the IEC and the applicant must give me the details of everything about that applicant: your name, your address, your gender, your constituency, and the registration center. Because these are going to be the evidence that are going to be put before revising court. But it's very disheartening for me to see political parties at registration center and making disruption when they still have their agents there. Let your agents record everything about that applicant. So revising court, you go to the and say, Nimatarawale of Talinding, register so and so date, but I am suspicious that he's not a Gambian. I'm suspicious that he's a foreigner. I'm suspicious that so this is what the court is going to check. And the court is going to expunge Nimatarawale from the voter list. So when I see people fighting at the and making some kind of bravado that they don't have, I was like, what the hell is wrong with? Why can't they just do simple instruction, get the list of that applicant? Because if at all the court rules in your favor, he's not going to vote. You understand? So the law has provided all those mechanisms. So let's stop problems at registration centers, record individuals' name collectively. We got a revising court and defend the case very well. Marinima of Talinding, register so and so, it's not a Gambian, it's a foreigner. So the courts will look into those evidence. Court have the power to expunge the name from the voter list, so that person is not. I'm not the one to determine that. I am not the one to determine that. It's the courts that can determine that.
Yeah.
Not me, not any other individual. So, and for me, and one thing, let me tell you people, election is never cheated in this country during counting. Let me make that very, very clear. Any political party who goes over the world, we are cheated during election day. Our 200 is changed to 20, or there are 20 is changed to 200. It's not true.
Yeah.
This is not true. This is not true as far as the electoral system of this country is concerned. You understand? So for me, it's either Gambians will come together and reject a particular political party leader, but to say I cheated, as I said, my 200 is changed to 20, or they are 20 is changed to 200. I can tell you that's not true.
Okay. Thank you. So lately you've been in the news cycle for good or bad reasons, and one of the key things that you just alluded, the breakaway from UDP to be a founding member of UMC. Now, I heard you mention a winnable candidate. We are tired of losing elections. I just want you to kind of walk us through your definition of a winnable candidate, but also to highlight some of the lessons learned in the past that you could replicate in your current position to ensure that there is electoral victory.
Thank you very much. Definition of a winning candidate, we must be reflective on the performance of that particular candidate during elections. First, Talib Ahmed Bensouda contested elections 2 times, and all these elections he contested, he was able to attract coalition around him. You understand? Especially the last presidential, the last mayoral election. I can tell the last mayoral election, almost all parties in this country, Talib Ahmed Bensouda's candidature for KMC for Kanifi municipality. That is why President Barrow and all the recall ambassadors, all the permanent secretaries, all the ministers, even the minister who could have go and campaign in CRR, in LRR, all stays in KMC to make sure Talib is defeated. Let me tell you one thing. If UDP did not produce Talib in last mayoral election, we are going to lose the seat. And look at the electoral performance. UDP was able to secure, I think, 40-something-thousand votes, but Talib was able to consolidate and hold onto this game and consolidated an extra 10,000 plus votes. This is what I call a winnable candidate. You are able to hold onto your base and consolidate it with extra votes. That's number one. Number two, you are also able to gather coalition around you. So this is what we call a winnable candidate. Winnable candidate, you must have track record of winning elections. You must have that track record. People cannot just look at you and say winnable candidate. Track record of election. But we cannot also say you are a winning candidate when you have track records of losing elections. We cannot also say you are a winning candidate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive times of losing elections. We cannot be comfortable to say you are a winning election. But if you have track record of winning election, you are a winnable candidate. If you have track record of consolidating your gain and add it with several other votes, you are a winning candidate. If you are able to attack coalition during your candidature, you are a winning candidate. Saria.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So, Honorable Menteng.
So the strategy to say how do we win elections, you see, when I was contesting Latikunda Sabiji for UDP, as I said, everybody was like, we cannot win election.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did at that level in those days, I requested for voter roll from every polling stations in this country and look at what was the performance of UDP in those polling stations. So I went further to even look at what are the type of surnames coming from that particular part of that are voting in that polling station. So I organized the team. We went over all of this. Okay, this area is like you have more Mandinkas in this area. We established that. I say, okay, this particular police station is like you have the Kujabis, the Jola, it's like most of Jolas are coming at this. We look at all those tribal whatever as far as polling strength of UDP in all those areas are concerned. I told them. So the first day when we started a campaign, it's like my people were only going to UDP houses. I was not a politician because in those days I just started politics. So the following day, before we go for house, I called them. I told them, if the approach we took yesterday, It's going to be the same approach. I don't want to spend my energy, my time, and money because we are going to lose election. I told them, Usama got 10,000. Barrow was like 17,000, 18,000. You go to the same UDP compounds. We are not going to win the election. So I told them that I am more comfortable. We enter every compound, every area in Latikunda Sabi constituency because I want to be everybody's national assembly member. But he started going to this compound, we jump 2, 3 compound, we go to another compound. How will they see us? I don't know. Well, this is it. Yesterday we did. I'm not comfortable. If we are going to do the same thing with subsequent days to come, I don't want to spend my money and I want to do my effort. It's better I resign. Let the UDP choose another candidate before we are going to waste our time and resources. That is why Abuko, that has never been won by UDP for 22 years. Abuko for myself. The UDP sitting councillor in Abuko, it was my effort that we had, UDP had a sitting councillor in Abuko, and mayoral election came, I was able to win the area for mayor. So you can see, when you change tactics in politics, it can be a dividend.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. There is a, Honorable, there is a general consensus that in the absence of a comprehensive coalition, in other words, all the parties coming together, that's the only chance that we have for defeating President Barrow. I mean, the polling data is saying that, anecdotal evidence is saying that, political strategies out there, they are saying that. Do you subscribe to that notion that the only way that he can be defeated is a broad-based coalition effort?
I will disagree to say is the only way. I can only agree to say is the easiest way. But it's not the only way, Musa. I know what is happening in this country. For me, you see, I keep telling people I'm not an ordinary politician, and I'm not the kind of politician that will give myself false hope or false expectation. This country, I can tell you, Gambians want change. It's going to be more easier with a broad-based coalition approach towards Barrow is easier. But I can tell you, it's not the only way. It's only Gambians are waiting. The viable option that they can rally behind to be able to defeat how do I call it, President Barrow in 2026 presidential election. So people are just misconstruing the facts. Coalition, broad-based is easy, might be more effective. You understand? Might be more technical, might be more forceful. But I can tell you, the force can emerge. All the existing parties and NPP and defeat Barrow in 2026 presidential election. So if the coalition, to answer your question, might be the easiest way, but it's not the only way.
Okay, so if a broad base, a comprehensive, is the surest way of defeating Barrow, now we all know the only thing that will prevent us from achieving that is who is going to lead that coalition. And I mean, you follow it, I follow it, a lot of people follow that. Maybe that would be the one problem that would be deny us the opportunity of having a broad-based coalition. So I want you to respond to, I was listening to Nyaur Koma. I mean, I'm not a UDP supporter, but I listened to him very carefully. And he made this argument. He's like, there are a lot of parties, these small parties, that are formed only for the presidential elections.
Correct.
And he's saying, if we're fair, you're looking at the United Democratic Party, his party, that has 200,000 bankable votes. So you expect the UDP to step aside and allow a party that was just formed yesterday, you know, these small parties, and for them to follow that small party, I mean, that is not realistic. And if we know that a broad base, a comprehensive is the surest way, do you agree with him that it is not ridiculous for the parties to at least sacrifice and yield for the UDP to lead and all the parties come and join them and have a solid agreement, and then they go after Barrow? What do you say to that? Because his argument was forceful. His argument is reasonable. What do you say to that?
Well, those comments are enemies of progress. Those comments are enemies to coalition, and those comments are not intelligent comments or they are not intelligent reactions at the time the Gambians want to come together to form coalition. Musa, let me tell you one thing. Coalition forming is a process. It's a process. You see, that's why intelligent reaction. If you let's go back to 2016. Barrow came through a process. PDP is the biggest party, but now all these parties they want a process. Why can't you easily accept that process? If you have the kind of manipulation some of us did in 2016, just to make sure Adam Barrow is the flag bearer. I remember Dr. Landim Bojan's how do I call it? Delegates came from our village, the late doctor. They came from our village, our sisters. What do we tell them? No, you guys have to vote for Adam Barrow. The biggest party. You have not been winning elections in this country. And people want to win elections. Now, if you say your bankable vote is 200,000 plus, now you have 900,000 plus, now going to 1 million. So that 200,000 in way of science or physics is negligible now. So don't even talk about that because you are going to enter election with more than 1 million. So if you say your bankable votes are 200,000, now over 900,000. Be a small party, be it a big political party, coalition is more effective through a process. National consultation, national delegates conference. They choose a leader. You still use a majority voice in that process. You must follow. So you don't do it like that. Because you want to swallow people, you won't allow them to be swallowed. If you still believe biggest party, all over the country, allow a process. It's because of process that Barrow became a president. We already have a lesson to learn from. Not fail because certain parties are saying we are biggest. That one failed. When in 2016 we came together, we say, okay, we are the biggest party still, but let's accept a process. When we accepted the process, what happened? Our candidates still emerge as the. So Gambians want now. I don't think Gambians are looking for any party-led coalition. What Gambians want now, a national consultative, extensive, wider national consultative all over the country. Which candidate you want? We come back to a delegate conference where delegates are going to choose who is going to lead the coalition. But let me advise all political parties. I don't want them. Governments are not accepting to say, I am the biggest political party. Come, let me swallow you. We can allow that.
Thank you, Honorable Menteng. Pat Sam.
Very intelligent. You should be very intelligent going forward, making certain comments.
Yeah, so let me push back a little. You said the argument that was made by Nyawur is one of enemy of progress. But what can argue too? Now you believed in that 2021 elections, if anybody were to come to the UDP and said coalition, your argument would have been we are the largest party, people should come and rally behind us. So is it fair to say that your position changed because your choice of candidate? Hold on. No, yeah, you have to hear my whole question. Are you there?
Yeah, you are inputting improper motive on me.
No. I'll ask my question and then you can. These are the National Assembly or the Court of Law. These are for the people by the people. So I'll ask my question and then give you the opportunity without interruption to answer. Now, my question is that I would push back and say in 2021, every member of the UDP believed that because of they are the largest party, that everybody is supposed to rally behind them. That it is now convenient for Yaya Ment to say, because his choice of candidate, Mr. Talib Ahmed Bensouda, cannot claim to have the votes that Mr. Dabo would claim to have had as a UDP candidate. What say you to that?
No, that will never be, because 2020 or prior to 2021 election, I was a UDP supporter, supporting the party, paying bureaus for a lot of constituencies in this country, giving them television. I did a lot of UDP, using my car for certain political transactions. But I don't think there was any coalition process in 2021 that probably I can form opinion to say we are the biggest. And I have a very progressive mind. mind. I was not going to think like that even I was in active politics. I just want to see that coalition is always a process. We have learned a lesson in 2016. Adam Barrow came through a process, and he was from our party. So answer your question, even 2021, if I was in active politics, this was going to be my reaction, that let's accept a process, and anybody that came out from that process will be able to be the effective coalition candidate. So it doesn't mean that I change from, I call it party switching, or switch party, or decamping, whatever you call it, it doesn't still, my principle still remains.
All right, so moving forward, when you form your Unite, and I must give you this, Yaya.
Yes.
I've been in politics for a very long time, not as long as Musa, but for a very, very, very long time, even before there was Yaya Jammeh, well before that. And what I've seen your movement do, I've not seen any new movement in the Gambia do that, especially one that is outside of government. You can see a Barrow Youth Movement, they had still resources to do what they're doing. So you got to give them that.
That's what Magaman told me day before yesterday.
Yes, but there is something that you guys promised when you came. I've listened to you and one of my favorite people in the world in Kemo Bojang. And you promised, even Talib, you promised a new way of politics.
That's correct.
But as an observer, who's been in Gambian politics for too long, what I see is not that much of a difference. And this is why. I have followed you, and what I see from UMC and UDP is pretty much the politics of the old, going after each other the whole day. In fact, I just read a post that you wrote where you were talking about Sabale and calling him a slave or whatever he might have said to you. How is that any different from the politics that we knew until the formation of the UMC?
We're going to do politics of politics differently. We mean politics of insult, politics of misinformation, politics of tribalism, and politics of criticism, unnecessary criticism. This is what we meant actually. We will never tell people we are not going to respond to if anybody insult or if anybody, because Sabali insulted me day before yesterday in a very, very, very bad manner. So my reaction is a reaction to what Sabali did to me. You understand? So when you say we're going to do politics, this is what we mean actually. We will never initiate politics of insult, politics of misinformation, politics of tribalism, and we are going to criticize, but it's going to be constructive, going to criticize for the sake of it. We are going to make sure we have fact, established fact before we criticize. So that is why UMC say we are going to do politics differently. That is why if you look at UMC within this short period of time, I had a Baribunga neighbor day before yesterday. He was in my house. He told me he was in politics for more than 30 years. Nafasa, he got me Nafasa was time, Sirif Mustafa Diba, Abdul Karamba, Gassama Badib. He said, you people are capable of winning this election because the kind of organization that I doing in this country, a political party less than 1 year is very, very, very capable of winning 2026 presidential election. So to answer your question, Court, we are not telling anybody, we are not going to do politics of fanfare. We are not going to do politics of aggression. We're going to do all of that. But the only politics we are going to do parallel to other political parties and organizations in this country is we are not going to insult. We are not going to instigate tribalism. We are not going to misinform anybody. We are not going to do unnecessary criticism. To answer your question.
All right, Honorable Menteng, thank you very much. So Honorable Menteng, I kind of wanted to press you on this whole thing about insult, tribalism. Obviously, your political orientation came from UDP, and you have a long tradition with UDP. Do you really think UDP is a party of insult or tribalism?
UDP don't have any policy to anybody. to instigate tribalisms. But the fact is, there are 2 or 3 elements that have been destroying this party since 1996. But UDP as a party would tell anybody, go and insult anybody, go and criticize anybody, or go and instigate tribalism. There has not lost, but there are few elements, 2-3%, that the party is not able to control. That's the fact.
Okay. Well, all parties have such. They have the outliners. You will find that in UMC, and you will find those. I agree with that. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, do you really think that UDP's agenda, and basically you spend more time in UDP, both folks, majority of folks in UMC today. My question is, do you think UDP, stands, the party apparatus, they are there to push an agenda for one tribe or another?
No way. That's not that never the point. That is never the position. I mean, the party position to of one tribe. No, sorry, please. That's that. No.
Okay. So you break up. I don't know whether you said no or yes. Musa, what was his answer? He
said no. He said no way. That's not the
all right. Thank you. So Musa, just let me ask one more question. Honorable Menteng, Coach really highlighted this, and sometimes your own writing and your own stance on Facebook comes under a lot of scrutiny and criticism, especially going personal. And you try to justify just now about laying the facts, and how does that look like? Now, as a sitting member of the National Assembly, and you definitely represent your constituency, and particularly the question was Nyaur Kama. He came from your area, I believe so. Now, answering that question, saying that it's backwarded and all that stuff, and also seeing your post, particularly in the name of a guy who was at a campaign rally, use your name that you beg someone. But do you really think that type of politics is transformational? And do you really think, what will that do for you? Because I listened to your earlier version of a recorded video where you said you are not going to respond because people try to call you and say, oh, this is out there, can you respond? And you don't want to do that because that is not the way you want to do politics. But I guess within 24 hours, you change your mind. You went all ballistic and wrote that stuff on your Facebook. What does that tell? Is it politics of the past or the politics of the present? And if so, what is the difference?
No, sorry. Yes, when Sabalu made those comments about me, and many people called me, respond. I was like, why will I respond to Sabalu? Why will I just respond to Sabalu? Because for me, I still see myself as somebody. The gap between me and Sabalu is so huge. This is somebody who was not even selected by the party to be a National Assembly member. So I was like, the difference is very huge between me and Sabalu. But at one point, I think they conducted another meeting yesterday, and he attacked me again. I feel like I want ceasefire. Okay, not even ceasefire, because ceasefire is both sides were firing each other. I think military people know that. Then the ceasefire, you all stop firing. But if one person is firing, that cannot be ceasefire. I was like, let me just ignore him. But Sabali is is a very annoying and very painful person that you can definitely. And I'm a politician. There are certain comments when he make, you keep like, he's right. That's why Honorable debunk. So you see how so push you to lose your character sometimes. And I feel like I think I have to put this man in order. And out of nowhere, I just went on my social media and also responded to him. But if I should not have responded to him. I should have still maintained my tempo, maintain my character. Let me not have any loose character towards Sabali. But as you know, Sabali can definitely push people out of your character.
Okay, so to consider what you all said, would you have taken that back? Because I listen to you. Knowing what you know and what you stand today, would you have done things differently? And I just everyone to everyone know who is watching this today. Menteng is my uncle, and he live at my mom's house, and we have but when he comes to this platform, I will hold him to the same standard like I hold everyone. So just let everyone know that. So, but what I'm saying, knowing what you know today, would you have take a different route?
I wanted to remind you, sorry, I asked me to
So yeah. I'm not your uncle, but I'm seen as a as a member of UMC. But like Sariang said, as far as this platform is concerned, we ask the tough questions because all we represent is the people, and they all come in different colors. But let me ask you this. You have asserted that the only reason that there was a breakaway has a lot to do with the leadership. You guys don't believe that A&M Dabo is electable, that Talib Ahmed Bensouda is the most electable candidate. And that is the reason. Most likely that's why there is this breakaway and the formation of UMC. Now, so obviously it's not because of issues, it's not because of the economic, UDP's position on unemployment, UDP's position on health, or UDP's position on education. So my question is, come 2026, do you believe, would it make a difference if Barrow gets elected or UDP wins? Would it make any difference? Or do you subscribe to the fact that they're 6 and 9? Replacing UDP with NPP will not bring about the transformational change the country needs. What's your take on that?
Yeah, UDP's chances of winning election in this country, I don't want to be opinionated on that because that is right now at 0. I don't think this is possible. And
again, Blai, yes. That is not the question, because I don't know, you don't know. The people have not voted yet. Is it possible that UDP can win? It's very possible, because the last election they got more votes than any other opposition party. My question is, do you believe replacing the UDP on the A&M Dabo would be any different from re-electing Barrow? That's my question.
Yeah, of course, there will be some differentials, if I should put it that way, between these two governments, Barrow's administration and the UDP's administration. Of course, there are going to be some progresses that will be registered by administration. Might not be those progresses might not be registered under the UDP administration. UDP administration might also have some progresses that are not going to be registered under the Barrow administration. All these administrations are going to have their negatives and their positives, and they are going to.
No, Bilal, you are giving me a political answer. The negatives and the positives. That is not my question. The question is, Gambia needs transformational change. We know what we have now. Do you believe replacing with a UDP government under A&M Dabo would be transformational compared to what we have now?
I don't even want to wish for that. I just want to replace Barrow. So I don't want even to associate my emotions to something I don't want to happen.
No, I thought, yeah, Honorable. I thought the only reason the breakaway has a lot to do with winnability. In other words, the man cannot win. That is the reason. So if he were to...
The breakaway is I always tell people that is a realignment and a readjustment to priorities for oneself and the country. That's the reason. The realignment, the readjustment of priorities for oneself and for the country. This is the reason for the breakaway. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that electability, I said it earlier. For me, personally, I always tell people, party leaders' candidature in 2026 is risk and is failure at plain sight. I advise myself on that. If you know the political terrains, you know the political, transactions, narratives in this country, you will know the chances of is very, 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 very low. And I always tell people, UDP next presidential election, the biggest vote that they will have will be 160,000. It cannot be more than that. They will not have vote less than 160,000, but they will not also have votes 150,000. Less than 150,000. They will not have votes more than 160,000, but they will not equally have votes less than 150,000. Next presidential election for UDP.
Okay. Now, let me go to UMC. We all know that you said the country needs change and they want something different. We went through the First Republic under Sir Dawda. We went under the Second Republic under Jammeh's dictatorship. And now here we are dealing with Adama Barrow. And then here comes UMC, a new generation of leadership. What can you tell us that it's not going to be the same old in terms of dealing with youth unemployment, in terms of the informal sector, women, Serekunda market, Birkama market, in terms of affordability? What is UMC going to do differently, Honorable Menteng?
Well, UMC is going to do quite a lot of things differently from all other political administrations in this country. Musa, in fact, today I think since in the morning, we are able to validate finally our party constitution. We are able to validate finally our party manifesto. I can tell you, Musa, we have the most progressive party manifesto. We are going to unveil on the 16th of May. In fact, our manifesto structure is not even like normal traditional political manifesto structure in this country. Education, the same what is health, agriculture, economy, blah 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 blah. You see, those manifestos are people are used to those kind of manifesto. Doing something differently. Because on our manifesto for now, but because we want to do the official launching on the 16th of May, 2026. So I will want to answer this question after 16th of May. But I can tell you one thing. Our manifesto is completely different. Our intervention areas in all these sectors is completely different. It's all performance-based. And our first 100 days in office, Gambians will know because we are going to set the tone, we are going to set the direction of how it's going to go in the first 100 days in office. But if you don't mind, let me answer your discussion on the 16th, on the 6th, or on the 17th of May. Because what we agree right now, after the official launching,
correct,
then everybody will have talking point from the constitution. Let me make you suspicious. Our manifesto is so progressive that you even enjoy reading it. I can tell you that from the national traditional way of writing party manifesto, education, the same word in agriculture, the same word in irrigation. No, those are nonsense.
But nothing like copy and paste.
And our manifesto building was also very, very consultative. Civil society organizations were involved, Gambian communities were involved, women were interviewed in their gardens, taxi drivers were interviewed in their taxi garages, carpenters were interviewed at their carpentry workshop, metal workshop, even fruit sellers selling fruits on the roadside. Musa, we consulted them. So anyway, just wait for on the 16th, please.
We will wait for on the 16th, Honorable Menteng. Pap Samba.
Yeah. Everybody in the Gambia is talking about coalition building. And, well, UDP is talking about it, UMC is talking about it, all Gambians, there's a consensus, almost near consensus, that in the absence of a coalition, the opposition does not have a chance. So the question that I have for you as one of the senior officials of the UMC, what is your assessment on the possibility of having a coalition based on the meetings that you've attended and all that, without giving us all the information? But what are the prospects of having a coalition?
The prospects are very, very high. The possibilities are very, very high.
Wow.
The chances are very, very high. You know what is happening, Koi?
Yes.
There may be a coalition among Gambians as far as voter roll is concerned. What is missing is for the political heads to agree that Gambians wants to come together. Gambians want to galvanize themselves into such a powerful political force against Barrow, and they have their cards sitting in the market, sitting in their booths, sitting under the mango trees, etc., etc. Now, what they are waiting is viable and is a viable option. So that is why I always tell people, whether opposition parties agree, the heads agree or not, Gambians have already organized themselves into a coalition force. They are just waiting for the verdict decision of the party head. But if the party heads fail to do this, Gambians will form a coalition against a candidate. I can tell you that first. And I want you to write it.
Gambians will form a coalition against a candidate. You've been in most of these meetings. Yeah. You've been in almost most of these meetings, whether it's you or Tombong or Talib or Kemo. Or even if they go and you're not there, you will get a report as to what the meeting was like. Based on your observation, do you think the opposition parties who've been attending all these meetings have demonstrated the political will and the ready to sacrifice to be able to have a coalition based on your observation and based on the meetings that you've had with your colleagues?
Kemo represented us at coalition talks. And as you said, yes, we always just report in the group of whatever discourse. I can tell you that for sure. And myself personally, we met a lot of party leaders in passing privately. We met a lot of party leaders. I can tell you the attitude of some political party leaders upon some political organization towards coalition building is so discouraging. It seems like bullying tactics, kind of. But let me tell you one thing, Coy. There are going to be 3 runners for this 2026 presidential election. Any party who allowed or who did not subject themselves to coalition will be irrelevant in the process. That particular party and NPP. It's going to be 3 horse race. Coalition, any political party that refuse coalition, and NPP. So there's going to be 3 horses. And that political party or that political parties, that coalition will be very irrelevant in 26 presidential election. So to answer your question, yes, the attitude of some political parties and some political leaders is discouraging, but they will realize that the time they realize it will be too late for them. But aspects of some political party heads is also very encouraging. It's also signaling that there is going to be a coalition in this country. But if there is no coalition in this country, any party that refuses to be part of the position, you will be irrelevant in 2026.
Thank you, sir.
Sarian.
Honorable Sanyang, I listened to you, and I'm gonna press on what Coach just asked you regarding coalition building. Now I hear you. You said the country is gonna elect a coalition party. I get it. But when you turn around and say some political parties or political leaders are bullying others, and some political parties are going to get 160,000 votes, do you think that helps in the negotiation process? Because these negotiations are ongoing, and despite it's not binding, but at the end of the day, you don't want to say something that's going to hurt your partner. So in your own, because you are privy to some of these negotiations, do you really think that type of rhetoric will help?
Well, I think it is a rhetoric that is so negative. That was just trying to answer questions. Basically, any party that refuses to be part of the political, this a grand coalition that Gambians are yearning for, I will repeat, sir, you'll be very relevant in 2026 presidential election because Gambians want change. So every political party or every political organization should advise that this one, if it represent the interests of Gambians, for us to form a coalition, throw behind our leadership aspirations that we must lead by folk and see collectively what Gambian people are going to agree on. If any political party, I will repeat, yeah, I will all be right. It will be relevant.
Okay, thank you. My other question is, what would be, obviously you're not a novice in the Gambian political, environment. What would be an optimal outcome, or what would you like to see that you think would be a tiebreaker that is acceptable to other political parties to form a coalition that is united and that's going to go against Barrow in 2026?
Well, that is a very difficult question for me. A tiebreaker that all opposition parties should be will accept. For me, as I said before, let's all accept a process. Let all opposition parties subject that process. Any candidate that is hatched out from that process, then become acceptable, become the tiebreaker. But for me, right now, I don't think I'm so comfortable to say what will be tiebreaker without a process.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to do a final round. Honorable Menteng, and thank you very much, really, for staying with us, definitely, and we appreciate it immensely. Follow up to the question that Sariang is asking. When you ask any political party, they will tell you, I'm in for or I'm open to a coalition. But as we all know, the devil is in the detail. You're saying subjected to a process. What are the viable processes that you think UMC can live with? Saying that, you know what, this is the kind of process that we believe, if initiated, whatever the outcome is, we will live by it. What are those processes, you think?
The process is, number one, national process where every ward in this country will be consulted of which opposition candidate they would like to lead the coalition. That's number one. Number two, a national conference of delegates drawn from all these 53 constituencies that are in this country, equal number of delegates, and IEC or whatever body to preside over that election, and all opposition parties should subject it to that. Any candidate that voting then will certainly be the coalition flag bearer. So these are the type of acceptable processes that the UMC will subject ourselves to. If number one, number two, national conference of delegates.
So when you say consultative process, what do you mean? To just go out there and who is going to do the consulting?
Surprise is here, very credible survey organization. They can do that for us.
Okay, so
they can go over this and do opposition parties. You know, if in Europe, America, opposition for these surveys to be able to know your strength. It's only Gambia here. We feel that it's forbidden for us to do, but political parties can do that and see their strength and weakness area. So the coalition parties, opposition parties can come together and probably suppress or any reputable, survey, whatever. They do this. All the 53 constituencies in this country, they do their random sampling and come and report to the party. Then from there, delegates drawn from all over this country to go and vote for a candidate they want to lead the coalition.
So a two-tier, if I understand you right, a two-tier system. Yes. The first tier is Cyprus or Afrobarometer will do a survey, a polling, basically saying, who do you want to run against the incumbent? And whatever the outcome is, then they will take it to a second tier whereby each party will provide delegates.
Yes, that's correct.
And then they will go through the...
Not each party providing delegates. Delegates are going to be unbiasedly selected from all these 53 constituencies. Obviously, if every party selects your delegates,
right,
your delegates will come and vote for you. Do you understand? We can also do that. But for me, what I will prefer, unbiasedly or random selection of delegates by an authority that's going to preside over this,
like
this
Cyprus.
election process.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah. Instead of every political party choose, yeah, we can also do that for us to make every political party so comfortable. Maybe a framework is going to be developed around that national conference of delegates, but there must be national conference of delegates. Maybe the framework is going to further inform the kind of delegate selection. Musa.
Thank you very much. My final question. We were talking about some statements that were made by Sidinjai and also Maimuna Sise. And we all know how elections were done in 2021. Most people are saying that's this tribal politic from the NPP was utilized to win the 2021 elections. What's your reaction when you heard what Sidinjai was saying and what Maimuna was selling to the people of Kiang? What's your take on that, Honorable Menteng?
Musa, I am totally against tribal politics. Coming from Honorable Yaya Ment, coming from Honorable Sidinjai, coming from Honorable Maimuna Jete, coming from Sharia Morocco, I am totally against tribal politics. And I keep warning people in UMC. In politics, don't even mention Kia and tell, oh, Quinal people, Mandinkas, you are very, very good people. You cannot go to Passe and tell Sarkule people, you are very good people. You cannot go to Som and tell Manjakos, you are very, very good people. In politics, even for very, very, very good reasons, don't mention tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And politicians stop, increasing the anger, dissatisfaction of one tribe against the other. It's not going to work for us. From this, about Sidinjai, it's not only about Maimuna Sise or any other person. I want Gambian politicians to stop mentioning tribe, even for very good reasons.
Thank you very much, Honorable Menteng. Samba.
Yeah, I want to take you back to what you suggested, the two-tier system, where you would have independent surveys to do their survey and then have people selected who you said independently selected or randomly. But the problem with that is there is no way of verifying parties that people support. And can you see a problem where maybe those who are selected may be supporters of the governing party and can effectively select the weakest candidate amongst your candidates to go against theirs? What other mechanism do you have in the absence of, let's say here in the United States, we know who is people are registered as Democrats or Republicans or independents. In the Gambia, no such thing happens. So how are you going to determine who is independent and who is not?
When you come to meet the people by the people, you are interacting with very intelligent people, and this is also very right. This is also right. Where the government supporters will come and be part of the process, and they sway, towards a weak candidate. I agree with you. That's why I say a comprehensive framework that's going to just must be developed. And I'm sure during the developmental stage of that, with this thing you are thinking about might be something, even though I was not thinking about it, but you are thinking about it. Maybe somebody who's going to be part of that process of going to think about that, and probably it will be avoided. But you are very right. It's also possible they can come in their like numbers, be part of the process, and they go and choose, how do I call it? Which candidate will not be election? Any candidate for us.
Yeah. So my final question to you, Mr. Menteng, is Sanyang, is to first thank you for coming. We've mentioned the reason why the UMC came about is because they believe that Barrow needs to be defeated, and you guys believe that your candidate is the best option. The reason why the UDP is there raising funds is because they believe that Barrow needs to be defeated and their candidate must defeat him. All the opposition parties that are coming, talking about coalition, there is one thing that they are talking about, that the Gambia needs a new governance system. There are a lot of people who are listening to you as a politician. What are the dangers of re-electing Barrow as president of the Republic of the Gambia?
The dangers of electing Barrow in 2026
Yes.
National collapse, state capture, political and economical, So that's going to be a very bad news for Gambians if Barrow is re-elected. We will probably see a state. We're going to see things that we don't wish for ourselves. A total national state capture, both politically and economically.
Thank you very much. I guess your uncle or your nephew has the final question. Brother Sariang.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sanya, for joining us today, and we appreciate your time. I think my final questions are obviously it's a hiding political environment, and obviously some of the folks that you've been working alongside don't see eye to eye, and sometimes the conversation gets a little heated. But what would be your advice? I mean, for the folks that you're not in the same camp today, but you worked together in the past, what would be your advice? And starting from you first, what would be say a template that all of us should emulate to ensure that peace and stability and the elections are conducted in a peaceful manner?
Very much, Sariam. For me, we accept each other on our nature of occurrence, and we accept circumstances on their nature of occurrence. Yes, today we were together yesterday. Today we are not together, and that is politics. And I always keep telling one thing to Gambia: politicians don't have principle and memory. We don't have politicians. One thing about politicians, we keep deleting our memory on daily basis so that we don't remember what happened yesterday. And we don't have principle. For us, is most of us is like where interest lies. You understand? And that is very common in Gambian politics. Politicians in Gambian politics, I'm a Gambian politician. They don't have principle. Politicians, they don't know what you have done for them yesterday. Even you kill them, you kill yourself for them yesterday, but today, if the interest changes, they're not going to remember that because they already deleted that in their memory. So that's why I fondly tell people, Gambian politicians mostly don't have principle and memory, and that is why we should be very, very careful. If you are supporting this party today, be very mindful. Don't be so, don't do anything that you feel you may not be, because anything can happen in Gambian politics. And also, it's not the politicians are like today. Politicians will speak before audience. This is white. Repeat after me. This is white. Repeat after me. This is white. But tomorrow, he will come to the same audience, the same chalkboard. No, this is black. Say this is black, and he wants you people to repeat after this is black. After knowing it's white. Look at the attitude of Sabali and Dr. Sise.
Yeah.
Yesterday was white, but today putting all the effort to Gambians know it's white, it's white, it's white, it's white. Imagine. So we should be very careful of each other. Let's not insult each other. Let's stop making tribal comments. We can criticize each other, but let it be very constructive criticism. And let's avoid insult completely. Disinformation and misinformation in our political space. Let's talk about national issues. Let's talk about talking each other. You cannot be saying, Yaya Ment has small head, big stomach. I post something on my Facebook last time. So I say, chicken leg, two right, two left.
All right, thank you, Honorable Menteng. Honorable Menteng, my final question is, what do you think is the biggest threat that face our country? And if you had to do two things to defeat President Barrow in 2026, and considering, you got a lot of political parties, and in fact, even working on extending an olive branch to the other other political parties, what will you do? So two questions. What is the biggest threat? And also, what would you do in your capacity to ensure that Barrow is not re-elected, if that requires you to work with other political parties that you might not even see eye to eye with, what would you do? That's my final question.
The biggest threat facing Gambia right now is a threat of NPP government winning elections in 2026. This will be a total disregard to every moral obligations we owe to Gambians. President Barrow 2026 election slogan campaign message was, I am a fan of two-term, and now his two-term is already concluded. He still want to further to third term. That's the biggest threat against biggest threat that the Gambia is facing to have to re-elect Barrow after 2026. So that means that we have completely away from third term slogans that we sang in 2016. That Barrow was the lead singer for in 2016 presidential election. So what I can do at my capacity to be able to bring opposition parties together to face Barrow is for political leaders to throw their personal political ambition and see Gambia. Yes, every political party, all political parties, I didn't mention anyone, I see all political parties, the leaders to throw their personal political ambition and see Gambia. We rally behind a candidate that we think can be able to defeat Barrow in 2026 presidential election.
Thank you very much, Mr. Menteng. Final closing words. We really appreciate you coming on this platform, and there is no doubt you've made your case.
Thank you. My final closing remark will be very brief. We are approaching elections, and I want Gambians to understand election is not ethnic census. Elections, we don't want to know how many Mandingas, how many Fulas, how many Jolas, how many Fulas, how many Manjak, how many Manjak. We want to select or we want to elect a competent leader. So elections to Gambian, I'm still advising myself and advising all of the Gambians. Election is not ethnic census. Election is about selecting or electing a competent leader that can be able to manage the affairs of your country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Menteng. Thank you very much. Say hi to the UMC gang. Pap Samba, there you have it from Honorable Menteng. Again, I've seen his writings, and I've seen Yange mute.
Did you say hi to the UFC
gang? I've seen some of his writings, and he was on this platform before. But you know what? I think I am very impressed with Honorable Menteng. Really, I think he answered the question honestly, and I think he really knows what he's talking about. Now, the thing about the coalition thing, I think I don't know, man. I think that will be very, very difficult. The two-tier. I wish he just stopped at, you do the separate polling, whoever they think it's the Gambians one, then that person becomes the flag bearer. Then they can work on the other deals, in terms of what they intend to do and the safeguards and things like that. But if you want to take it to another second tier where you would, like you said, how do you do that? How do you go out there and supposedly get delegates? Now, what happened if, let's say, Cyprus polling came out and say that Talib Ahmed Bensouda is the most formidable, and then you go through this two-tier system and it comes out that they won LJ Dabo. How do you, and I think this is where it gets a little bit complicated.
I think, Musa, to me, the best option is to have a proportionate allocation of delegates. Here's my thing. I know politics can be transactional sometimes, but if you cannot convince, let's say we have 5 parties and you have 400 delegates. If you gotta sell an agenda to 400 people,
definitely,
to vote for you, what makes you think that you can sell it to 1.2 million? Well, chances are that's what we'll have in the number of registered voters, or maybe 1 million voters. Because at the end of the day, that's just where it is. It's a tricky thing, this coalition building. And it's not an easy process, because what you are asking people to do is to abandon their ideals, their programs, and come towards something slightly different. So it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be a challenge, and I hope they can come up with a fair process. Even the one that you're talking about, the one tier where you go and do a survey. We see every survey comes, somebody has a problem with the way the question was asked.
No, man, obviously all the opposition parties will have to agree to it. That look, they will fund it and let them do the separate polling. You know what I mean? I mean, they will be the ones basically coming up with the questions. And now, is it a bro? But there is no either way you cut it. And another thing though that Nyaul made this argument, and seriously, I'm sold with that, and that is, bro, don't you form political party? Yo, since for the past 25 years, don't form a party since 1987. Man, just 4 months before the election, man Musa Jeng, when you announce feeling I'm going to be a candidate. And somehow I have a seat at the coalition table. And somehow I should be allocated delegates. Come on now. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Where do you draw the line? These are the parties that are, because there are few parties that are important when it comes to this coalition building. All these other parties, like Solentege Borsa, is not going to affect the formidability of that coalition. 23 parties. Some of these parties were just formed Bergdembo.
No. What here is the thing, sir. And on top of that, you have to look at this. Even if you are not formed Bergdembo, if you've been formed for the past 10 years for so, yes, you've not participated in any electoral process. See, we've had the local government elections, we've had National Assembly elections, we've had presidential elections. You've not participated as a party to anything. You've never put up a candidate, one candidate, yes, for anything. Don't tell me, oh, I was coalition. No, you didn't need to be a coalition with somebody in a local government elections. If you cannot even take somebody to run for a council seat,
definitely
somewhere, you are not a political party.
No. Man,
so you have this briefcase party. So you have to have that demarcation and say, you know what? The difference here is, let's look at during the Jame time, those who are participating in the coalition thing.
Yes.
These were registered parties. These were there. You know them. In fact, then to even register as a political party, opposition party, was a challenge.
Yes.
Because of the circumstances. Now it's different. Now anybody munna joke. And you have all this, everybody wants to be a candidate. You have 1,000,001 people all wanting to be president. You can't have everybody at the table.
No. They're complicating things in the name of fairness. We want to make sure everybody is involved. But Aver so I mean nobody at the table, it will be very difficult to find consensus. And I think supposedly the people that are facilitating, that's what they need to put under consideration. I mean, you know, and I know, there are few parties, if you can get them together, and then you use that as a baseline to form a coalition, you will have what we would consider a comprehensive coalition.
I can tell you one thing there, Musa. Huh? If you have UDP, UMC, because they've shown seriousness.
Of course.
They came, they build their bureaus, they do it. So you cannot definitely now discount them. You cannot. Okay? You have UDP, GDC,
right,
Unite, DOI, and you can even throw in SFL. He contested the last elections. He is crisscrossing the country. And so you have about 6-7 parties. You talk, you will have a very formidable coalition.
I believe that too. I told you that yesterday.
LJ Dabo, because of NOP, they participate in the last presidential election. It's a party at least participate in the process.
So NOP, so you can put them in the mix.
So you now you're looking at parties. You can go back and say, what is your electoral record? They'll say that, you know what, I'm sitting this, I have done this, I've run for elections, I've done this, I've had all these bureaus. But look at even UMC. You guys were former register 2 days ago. There are parties that are using some of your bureaus.
Of course.
From Nekani. And the sad thing, the IEC needs to clean our political process by saying that, you know what, you cannot be a registered political party. And maybe other parties should stop doing that. Where is your bureau? UDP, you know what, will allow you to use our bureau as your bureau.
Yeah.
No, if you cannot, if you're not doing what the law says, you have no business running a political party.
I mean, the only other option, more they all go it alone, like, because.
And then underground.
Huh?
So it will be such a divided
because I think they're making it very complicated. You're bringing all these different parties. Every day there is a name. Bro, all they're doing is they're angling for something. Especially if you run, even you've never put up a candidate. And this is where I would even go after NUP and even SFL. After the presidential run, I mean, how come you didn't have somebody representing you on the National Assembly? How come you didn't even have somebody run? I mean, a local government level. You know, I mean, the truth is the truth. When you have Doi since 1987, they have been at it, and then you have Musa Jeng came out of nowhere because I can pay the $1 million to register and be an independent candidate. I have a seat at the table. Come on now, I think the system is messed up. It's really messed up. And this is why, I mean, you heard some of the things that Menteng said, that most likely is going to be a 3-horse race. When he said the party that doesn't want, even he was referring to UDP, I mean, no doubt. That's what he was saying. Basically, the 3-horse race, maybe those parties will get together and form a coalition with Barrow, and then UDP would have their coalition. And that's what I personally think most likely is going to be more than 3-horse race.
You know what? I saw something that Usainu said yesterday. I did not see the whole interview because I want to see where he was talking about coalition. I've seen a quote attributed to him on coalition that the 2016 coalition was one of convenience, and I disagree with that. That was not a coalition of convenience. It was one of necessity. You know, because we face an existential threat. But I want to see that part. One part that I saw though was when he was talking about forming a coalition with the APRC. And saying, hey, you cannot be fighting this party. They went, they abuse you all the time, and then you form an alliance with them. And then I'm like, okay, but I've seen all these things, the no to alliance, are part of all these discussions. And I'm just glad that Mr. Dabo, in fact, is drawing the line there. And I hope it will not only be APRC. No to alliance must not, to me, I strongly believe that. You cannot dismiss APRC and then want to do something with NATO Alliance. NATO Alliance is owned and operated by one man and one man only, Yaya Ment, the man who killed, tortured, raped, and pillaged our resources. So I don't know how they're going to make that thing. This is not a question, Musa Mendy. So what do you guys say about Yaya Ment, NATO Alliance joining any coalition? Monday, man, as a person, any coalition that has NATO Alliance, I will not support and will campaign against.
Musa Mendy, Tom. Man, personally, I don't have a problem forming a coalition with NATO Alliance. And Karamba, I mean, very sorry, Bilal, you came at the last minute, and I would have definitely let you come in and kind of respond to some of the things that he said. Maybe next week we'll bring you on. What he says, trust, confidence, and a clear-cut shared agenda that all participants support is the only thing you need to build a coalition. Surveys, delegate 2, 3, or 4-tier cumbersome processes are not substitute. They're just subterfuges and a waste of time. Maybe it is. But Pasama, I listened to Mr. Dabo to that interview, and he did say that. I have to believe that he misspoke when he said that he was referring to something when he said it was a coalition of convenience, because it couldn't have been.
No,
There's
it was not.
no doubt that it could have been a politics of coalition of convenience. Mom Hamna, what we went through before 2016.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he was behind bars when it happened. Solo Sendeng was slaughtered when it happened. So Gambians were forced. Our hand was forced that something had to be done. So it was a coalition of necessity. We needed that. And I'm glad we did. Now, I don't know what it means when you say, a coalition of convenience. I mean, I have to believe that that's not what he meant. I really want to believe that. And as far as NATO Alliance, I will form a coalition with NATO Alliance. This is my thing. When you form a coalition, it's going to come down to this. We're going to come together to achieve something. These are the rules. We want to defeat this person so that we can do A, a brand new constitution. We want to defeat this person so that we can do B, get rid of the Public Order Act. We want to come together to do this, to attack affordability issues. In other words, there are going to be a set of things, the value system, I call it, that we want to bring about the change. If you subscribe to that, I don't care whether you are no to Alliance or you're from Jupiter, especially, like I said the last week, I'm a practical man.
You are
They
not.
have supporters, and supporters that can make the difference.
You are not.
Ignore them, you do it at your own political peril.
You know what? I'll rather take the political peril than that.
That's you,
Yes.
Manduman.
No, but that is so sad. And you know what is sad about it?
Ultimately is, what are we trying to achieve?
No, Musa, you know what's sad? You guys are speaking from both sides of your mouths.
We're not.
1 minute, you have a serious problem with Sidi Njai and Fabakary Tombong Jatta and all these things that they do because of their record. But on the other side, you want to ignore that. Now, you know what? I don't have a problem forming a coalition with this thing.
No.
What's the difference between the two?
I have a problem with Sidi Njai and Fabakary because of they haven't moved an inch in the kind of Gambia that they want to create.
So you think Jammeh's No to Alliance want to move an inch?
I'm just saying.
No. Do you think?
Let me come. At this point, we want system change. We want to come together and agree upon certain things. If we all agree to it, I mean, that's the only thing I can go with.
Musa, let me tell you something there. You can agree with all you want. All I'm saying, Moine, Pastor Bajo, I don't see myself hobnobbing with anything associated with Yaya AJJ Jammeh.
And I respect that.
No, listen. Nyom Sidi Njai, at least they had the balls with the National Assembly to vote for a bill that would prosecute Jammeh. Nyom Jiba would not do that. Nyom Jiba, they believe that Jammeh should be given a red carpet to come back to the country. You understand? They are the Holocaust deniers. They believe that Jammeh committed no crimes. That everything that was said. No, hold on. Everything that was said at the TRRC.
If we form a coalition, that No to Alliance is in it. All the other political parties, Nyom LJ Dabo, Nyom A&M Dabo, everybody is in it. All right? They agree to the things that they agree to in terms of the new Gambia that they are going to create. A&M Dabo is the leader of the coalition. Why would you think No to Alliance? Understand what I mean? Because the majority of the people, they want to take Gambia to the next level. Nyom decide, you know what? Looking at it, we would rather be part of this. Man, pragmatism would tell me, I'll make the deal and win the election. Really? Because I think they bring something electorally to the vote. And I'm not going to just dismiss that. Do not go deaf. Because at the end of the day, if you do that and you ended up losing the elections, what do you have to show for it? Oh, we have principles. Come on now. Principles. Haniko, not me. I'll make the deal. Now, if they come there and they're talking about Jammeh will be freed, these are their conditions, I'll give them the finger and tell them to get out of Dodge. You know what I mean? If they bring conditionalities that I have serious problems with, then they will not be part of the coalition.
Okay,
but as long as they subscribe.
Subscribe to what, though, most? Their position is well known.
Maybe you don't.
I really find it very disappointing and, in fact, insulting to the victims that anybody out of political convenience, let me use this, out of political convenience, feel that, you know what, let's forget everything that Jammeh did.
I did not say that.
As long as they, well, that's what are they?
You are characterizing it. I did not say that.
Musa, these people have made it categorically clear. I believe in that Jammeh must not be prosecuted, that he should be given red carpet. That as a former president, everything that people say is just hogwash. It never happened.
This is the thing.
That's the thing. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot see the guy.
Nyom Jiba, they are running in constituencies. Jammeh has a lot of influence.
So that's enough to this
but
thing.
Listen. Come on, man. You heard what I said. If Nyom Jiba, they're going to come there with their conditionalities that, Jammeh had to be this or Jammeh had to be that, I will give them the finger and tell them that's it. Now, but if they come...
And let me tell you what they will do.
If they come there, we want to come together and rescue our country. And the way to rescue it is to clean the system. Look, to tell you the truth, I would say, you know what? and the kind of electoral influence they have, because there are some parties that have been formed, electoral influence.
It doesn't matter, but Musa, that's not the reason. Though. What you're talking about is the your position is the true definition of political convenience.
Political practicality.
It's not practicality. It's convenience, Musa. It's convenience. So you're telling me if Jammeh woke up tomorrow and say, you know what? Okay, guys, let's form a coalition because we need to clean this. The city become more dirty or better. You'll just clap for him. And now we're listening to him. Let's work with him.
I'm not gonna allow the President Barrows of this world to outfox us.
You know what? Let me put it this way.
Whatever they want to do.
Let me put it this way. I would rather stick with President Barrow for the next 50,000 years than to have anything to do with Jammeh and his this thing. Marcus.
But anyway, bro.
Well, anyway, it's almost 5 o'clock.
You agree to disagree. Ideally, but again, like I said, these parties that you talked about, if they were to come together, even without the No2 alliance, I think it will be a formidable force that can defeat President Barrow. I seriously believe that. If they were able to come together. Now, the question is, what process are you going to put in place? I mean, we see Karamba's reaction. He doesn't like the two-tier system.
Do me a favor. Can you go? Let me go and delete this. Send WhatsApp group. You could settle. Can Bugu fee settle? Net. No, this nonsense that they do and just try to this thing. Nan Kumabuga settle. That's what they just.
Maneko date. Joma koman mu settle man na UMC dana man gagné election. Maneko bugana am ben set kat mo woko ne ko settle ma file na UMC dana man gagné Anyway. It's been a good one.
Yep.
And I really want to thank Honorable Menteng. I was absolutely very impressed. Definitely. I tried to wear my independent hat and ask the questions. And I like the way he came across. I think
your independent hat does not fit you very well. Why, you know?
Come on now. Give the other a chance. I don't even know how not to ask the questions that I ask. I'm going to allow
I think it was a good one. The difficulty in interviewing anybody in the Gambia is always a challenge.
WhatsApp, I think it works better there. Did I? To tell you
yep. Just do the WhatsApp and all that.
There is no delay. Understand?
Did you even play the ad say?
We did not, and that's a very, very bad thing.
Well, you just play it.
That is not a.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your Legal apartment today.
So we call on our guys. You need to sit on Facebook. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page, and it looks like it has less restrictions. So you can also watch it from there and all that, at your own convenience and all that. So you can, I think we'll have to start sharing the link.
And Pasamba, there is this new thing that Pasamba floated, and we're going to start it next week. And that is what's on your mind. And basically, the way it's going to go, we're going to have our interviews, we're going to have our push and pull. But at the end of the program, we're going to have the panelists, what's on your mind? And each individual will say whatever the hell they want to say without being filibuster or something like that. So it's going to be something new that we're going to add. And again, we want to really, closer we get to the elections, make it a little bit interactive. Mm-hmm. But you know how those things work sometimes. We try to make it interactive and people abuse it. And that doesn't sell very well. Because we know that there are a lot of people out there, they know the issues more than we do. And they want to talk about things that could really help the country. And we want them to be part of this conversation. Now, the question is, how do we go about doing that in a way more handy? It will still be helpful and within the, what I would call the purview of the platform. Because again, we want respect, civility, and have our disagreements. But again, thank you very much. You guys tune in every Sunday and we appreciate it. We will be back next Sunday, inshallah. Musobe Allah. Pap Samba.
Thank you, guys.
Is Arsenal still in trouble or what?
No, they won 3-0. But Manchester United, the mighty Manchester United, defeated today Liverpool. Door lañ leen seen kër, door leen seen kër.
Mora Babacar si la call na ma démb ba ma callee laa xam ne
No, I think they're going to win the league.
yeah.
I think it's going to be a challenge, but I can see Man City dropping points as soon as, in fact, tomorrow, their match against Everton. But your Man City, you don't know a player from Man City. You don't know the name of the coach of Man City.
Man City is my team.
What city is Man City in fact located?
Bye.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it's in the name, but you don't even know. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, guys. Later.